Vegas and I was buying a pack here and there while we were here, just so I wasn't taking Rob's all the time. Just only smoke on Wednesday and Sunday. And I told her, I was like, until you told me you wanted a divorce. And then I went through like 2 packs judiciously, like about 4 or 5
welcome
days.
back for that.
Yeah. Hey.
Hello, everyone. We're back, maybe. Hi.
Do you hear it?
Is it there?
I hear it now.
It's not the same. Yeah, I was almost off of this completely.
Okay, my God. That was an ordeal.
I know, actually, we should have streamed the fix. I would have been more fun.
We have to keep turning off.
I know that, but
camera.
it would have been. We had to
do it on my phone.
We had to pull a fan out of the computer and dust it out and plug it back in and do some tests and shit. It was an ordeal with some hardware. Yeah. We had to get tools out and
turkey baster.
3 different sets of hands. It was intense. Turkey baster did come out. Yeah, there was a turkey baster.
We're expecting a new computer in 9 months.
Shit.
All right. There was some Googling going on about WD-40. Yeah, turkey baster, true story.
True story. I couldn't find the compressed air, so I was using the turkey baster to blow out the fan.
It worked at first, yeah. It was really good. It was effective. But we did find the compressed air, so we'll never know if the turkey baster was enough or not.
It wasn't, because we did turn it back on.
Never mind, it was not.
Okay.
The noise is back.
God damn it!
I was right the whole time. It was just the music.
Just the ambient noise.
Liam uses turkey baster. It is super effective.
It was not super effective.
We're gonna have to write turkey baster into any like tech heavy games that we play from now on.
You pull out your kit. It's got this, the obligatory turkey baster, of course.
What's that for? It's for the communications recycler. You got to blow the fan out every so often when it gets bent. So we played a Firefly game, which is set in the Firefly universe. You know, the short-lived sci-fi Fox fiasco. But it has ways that things can go sideways, and when something goes wrong with the ship, there's a table, and you roll, and something goes wrong with the table, and it's like you roll 1d10, and it gives you all these things, and you roll another one, and it
the
gives
communications, the thrust,
so the steering manifold, the wing.
It's a one part, prefix suffix.
Yeah, so it's like port wing damaged. It's windshield. Melted, something like that. And the first one we ever did was communications recycler was bent. And we were at first we were like, that was stupid. Like, what did I
came up with a actual fucking reason.
And I think you skipped a whole session too. Like, we didn't use it.
No, you didn't use it the first session.
And then later it came up, and I was like, son of a bitch. And I was kind of like, come on, mad about it. And Dayton and Mark were confused because he and I had like a discussion about it.
We had the book at Thirsties, and we were flipping through it, just looking like, look at this ridiculous table, and you rolled on it, and it's like, ha ha ha. We laughed about it for a bit, and then second session, I'm like, yep, you guys are flying through space. Then all of a sudden everything shudders, and you can't stop the ship and do this stuff. He's like, what the hell? It's like, it seems like the communications recycler is bent.
then we spent like a couple of non-session nights like drinking and sitting at the bar and discussing what a communication recycler would do anyway, and then why
you would call it get bent.
How the ship's computer.
It is. I think we came up with maps are sent in constantly. And then they're updated by recycling old maps in with the new ones, so that you have an accurate pinpoint of where you are, considering construction and gate openings and closings.
It's only sending you the changes.
Yeah, so it's only sending you changes. So it has to go through the recycler, or the navigation system won't work. And that was what we came up with. And a bend in one of the manifolds I can't remember why, it's like the fan or something was fucked up.
No, it was actually like getting bent was.
Oh, that's right. It wasn't a bend. Getting bent was a term. That's right.
The map came in incorrectly, so it threw an error Because, like, okay, we think stars, like, the two new stars are, like, are supposed to be in the wrong place. And it's going, nope, we can't let you navigate with this bent.
It ended up being really, interesting. So the book ended up giving us more discourse than we actually spent in the game talking about it. It was really fun. I liked it. I thought it was neat.
Okay. Does everyone remember where we parked?
Yes. So, I was asking Metzley if he recognized any of the imagery from my dream, and he did say that a large serpent, to him and his people, does guard Tiliakahime.
Was slain there.
Was slain there. But now something does attack people, though, trying to get into the Black Pool area, and that's Tiliakahime. And that's where the pools are. The Baldarians tried to exploit this area, but it's cursed. People kept dying.
Baldarians.
They're Baldarians.
The Baldarians are coming out of
Fort Balarian.
Yeah. I got the number. Anyway.
Fort Balarian was a Baldarian.
So, what I was saying...
What's the port, though?
The Nyanru.
You're missing a Z.
Port Nyanzaru. Oh, Port Nyanzaru. Sorry. Nyanzaru.
Remember, it's the Nyan, like Nyan.
Yeah, Nyanzaru. Anyway. Where we were was I had just skinnied, my dream.
Not indeed.
Yeah, indeed.
Indeed, yes. Not just indeed, but indeed, like the way that you act, the way that you are. Anyway.
Both in intention and indeed.
Yes.
Meow.
The most serious meow that's ever taken place in the history of the world. So what I was doing was I was in the process of saying that...
Bunnies don't make a noise.
Yeah, they do.
What do they make?
It's a little...
It's the opening and closing of their mouth.
Well, there's that one, but there's also a little... They can whimper, basically.
They scream.
They do scream.
Guinea pigs are the worst. They whistle. Anyway, so I was saying that Cobble is kind of imparting a feeling of rush. Like, even though we're not, I know we have enough rations, and we have a great guide for the jungle, but this is the most information I've found in, like, months and months of travel, and now it's, like, all at once, and every night there's more and more. So, like, even though Tiliakahime sounds terrible, and Metzley is, like, scared of it, and there's all these terrible curse rumors going around it, I do feel a sense of rush to get there soon.
All right, let's go.
The doors start opening. Shillelagh, okay? You doing anything as the doors just, like, you see that big kind of tongue stone thing just kind of like...
It depends. Does this feel like it's the same amount of time? Like, has the action reset over the 12-hour period or whatever it was?
Yeah, because you guys did it right in the morning last time.
Or is this like this is opening at a week?
Well, it shouldn't open.
That's what I'm saying.
Right, because you guys closed it last night.
Oh, we have to open it. Then yes, then I'm getting ready as well.
What are you doing?
I will arm my new crystal short sword and my regular sword. And I accidentally rolled.
Oh, you rolled a 3.
I did. Good thing it's probably what I'm going to roll anyway with my real dice. And I don't think I have anything like... Yeah, I don't have any prep spell stuff.
Alright.
Unless I made a mage hand the door closed. Actually... No, never mind. Dang, I wish you could set entangle like a trap.
So how the door is like there's a center kind of stone area and little pathways on either side, left and right, corridors. And the stone backs into that middle so you can come in through either side. There's essentially 2 doors, one on the left, one on the right, that come into here. So as they open up, 2 figures come in and start coming towards you, and it's dark in those little alcoves. But as they come into the light of whatever light you guys have, there are lanterns, like oil lamps, all around here that you could have lit.
I think that we would have, because we were scared of those shadow things. At least I was,
yeah.
And I'm going to be sleeping, so there'd be one less person. So yeah, definitely lights on.
So as they come into the flickering lamplight, you see a man who he looks like a human form. You see just normal face, body, and everything as they were coming up. But when they hit the light, you see that they are completely covered in green scales, and they have like the yellow slit eyes. He is carrying a scimitar.
Scaled like Yanti?
Yes, just like Yanti. The other one kind of looked like a human when he was first coming up, but you thought like he had like his robes or something were like flapping open, or he had some type of like scarf or something. Turns out no, he looks like a human, just bare-chested man, like markings on him, but his arms are snakes that end in snake heads.
I do want to say there were a lot of videos of rabbits beating up snakes on
Oh yeah,
YouTube.
I just watched one the other day.
This sounds like the final form of Serpentor.
There is, you feel on the left side, you get the impression that there is someone else also back there. There's a second person back on the left. These people are moving in to you. They kind of spread out to go to either side and, approaching with malicious intent, it looks like.
I say there, we're not your ordinary explorers. State your business or prepare to face us.
Yeah.
A voice rings through from the corridor. There's that shape back there that has not emerged into the light. And it has a very soothing, feminine voice that says, "You will return what was taken from us and pay for our fallen brothers."
Thanks, Chewie.
You killed 2 Yanti when you took the...
We did.
You killed one, and then you rode an elephant, or sorry, a giant hippopotamus to kill the other.
It's a lot of we. We did kill that one. Fucking we started it too.
Well, I mean, they threw a giant hippo at you.
Well, we don't know that.
They gifted us a giant hippo.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I was gonna say,
and they stole from the crab people.
They did steal from the crab too.
Gifted you a giant hippo.
Those are the Aldani. That was the name of the crab.
The Aldani,
the
lobster people.
Okay. I say no ill. No ill will is meant. We merely were protecting the Aldani. Your people struck first, stealing from their new home.
Ancestral home.
I stopped myself.
That ship.
Yeah, the ship that's been there for 2 years. Ancestral home.
Well, you never know. How long does the Aldani live?
Their fourth
That's
generation.
7 generations?
Yeah.
What? Yeah, we lived for months.
Spoiler alert, sorry. I like that. That was one of my favorite parts of the Eternals was everyone hates Druig. And so he goes off on his own and he's like, I've kept these people for 20 generations.
Spoilers.
Okay.
I fell asleep during the movie.
Oh, did you really?
He did. He was totally asleep.
Did you come with us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
you
was
slept
asleep
through
the whole
that?
time.
Yeah.
Oh.
He was next to me. I look over. He's out.
Oh, my bad. Oh, you should have said something before I got...
It's fine. I've already seen the spoilers online.
That's funny. My bad.
So...
You can actually know when I woke up, because as soon as I woke up, I went, God damn it.
I looked over and you're like... so angry with yourself that
the only movie I ever fell asleep in was Spider-Man 3, the Tobey
you didn't
Maguire
miss
one.
anything.
No, I didn't. And the girl that I came with, it was kind of half date, not really. We were sort of interested in each other, and she picked the movie. We got off work, we went to the movie, and I fell asleep in the middle of it. And I woke up and I looked over and was like, "That's not what you're supposed to do on a date." I looked over, he was completely asleep. Both of us were like passed out of the movie and bored both of us and unconscious.
So now you can say you slept together.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so the two...
Hopefully my wife didn't choose tonight to be the one. She's like, I never watch this stream.
Well, there's 3 viewers. So that's a 1 in 3 chance.
Oh, is there? Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Is there really?
There is, yeah.
If it's you, then hey.
Hi.
Love you. Thanks
I said it.
He's bringing up bullshit.
What's the name of the third viewer? Because I know the handle.
Man, I don't know.
Oh, you're in so much trouble, Mitch.
Oh.
I'm not. I'm just curious. I didn't say anything untoward. Users in chat. There it is. Druby, me. Nope, none of those are her.
All right. So the two men, the two Yanti, are still moving forward.
They haven't responded to me.
The snakes on the guy's arms are like rising up. And they're getting closer. They're like 20 feet away from you now. The woman says...
How far away are they from each other?
15 feet.
Okay.
The woman says, there is an alternative to death. You can serve us until you die.
Entangle both of them.
Okay.
20-foot cube.
Saving throw is dexterity.
Strength. Or be restrained. DC 12. Nice. 12. It's
not great.
I mean, I'm level 3.
Well, that won't get any better with levels. You have to increase your attribute. You have to increase your casting attribute. They got a 16.
Damn it. So now the ground is difficult terrain.
So it hits them. So yeah, Are you doing anything in that time that he cast Entangle?
Yeah, I'll do a nice night.
Throwing it at one. Okay.
We get an attack of opportunity. I like it. All right, battle music.
Battle music.
Give it some sort of snake theme.
I wish.
Snake pit. Well, it's the first roll. Use the group one. Here, put that one back. Trade it for the group one.
No, that's fine.
The group one was,
I mean, that's not much better. So it's a 9 with a hat. So 12.
I think we should just change it as our group, like flip it for fun, so that it only affects people that come from outside.
Which one are you attacking?
It's a fucking weird snake hands one.
Okay, snake hands. You hit.
Oh, good. I was gonna say even if I missed the explosion, still.
Yep. So do your damage on him.
So the direct damage is 3. And the explosion damage. Oh, 12. Double 6s.
And is there a saving throw for that?
Yes. Okay. Dexterity 14.
17 plus his dexterity, 18, so he takes half.
Yeah.
All right, 6.
Still, hell yeah.
Dun, dun, dun. Initiatives. Metzley used his time to enrage, so that's what he's doing.
Don't you get 17? That sucks. It's the best I've rolled in 4 sessions. Is this our 4th or 5th session?
Third. Yeah.
Did we miss a week?
No.
Huh. I think time is just weird for me right now.
My weeks have been feeling so long in the middle of the week, but then once the weekend hits, I'm all like, holy shit, it's already the weekend.
Mine are now that the
What'd you get?
17, now that for me it's work, now that the end of the semester's coming
22.
up, I'm realizing how much work there is still to do in the time given.
All right, so the ground gets entangled as vines grow out through the stonework. The ice knife flies forward, cuts into one, and shatters over both of them, catching them off guard. Go.
Yeah, summoning the ribbon.
Summoning the ribbon.
Oh.
The rabbit gibbon.
Gibbon with a rabbit's head sounds fucking terrifying. There's a picture of having the baboon mouth, kind of stretched rabbit fang.
And I still like the feeling I get for the head is still the Donnie Darko mask.
Yeah.
Just creepy ass.
It's actually more
rabbit.
Banicula.
What's that fucking Japanese animator?
Yeah, that one?
Oh, that one?
The Japanese Disney guy.
Ghibli?
Yeah,
Miyazaki.
Studio Ghibli?
Yeah.
Miyazaki.
Oh, Miyazaki, yeah.
It's very, cartoonish looking.
All right. It
For some reason, when it moves its eyes, its cheeks go too, where it's like.
Does it get an attack on the first turn, or is it just summoned?
I don't know. See anything that specifically says that it can go right away. It says that it's same initiative as me and goes immediately after me.
And do you need your bonus action to command it? Because otherwise, I think he just sits and dodges.
No action required by you. It obeys your verbal commands. No action required by you.
Verbal. Okay.
So it sounds like it goes.
Sounds like it goes. Yeah. So
okay.
It's you take an action to cast the spell, right?
What is the actual spell called?
Summon Beast.
Yeah.
It's multi-attack, but of course I need to be higher level for that to work. So yeah, summon it in front of me and send it after the fucking weird.
Yes, it takes its turn immediately after your turn is ended summoning it, so it goes.
All right. Summon. You can summon it within 90 feet, right?
Yeah.
You might want to summon it right on the thing you want to attack, because otherwise it has to go through the entangle as well.
Yeah.
So, who you dropping it on? Snake hands or?
Yeah, the fucking weirdo.
They're both weirdos.
He's particularly
weird.
Okay.
Rolled it.
I guess just +4?
Should say in its stat block.
I'm sorry, it doesn't say that directly, but it does say immediately after your turn. That's the only caveat it says. So I would assume it goes right away.
Yeah. And there's nobody else next to these guys, so I don't get the pack tactics on it.
The nice part is that the component is a tuft of fur.
Your spell attack modifier to hit. So it's just your spell attack modifier.
Oh, the components are ridiculous.
What is it?
You need a feather, a tuft of fur, and a fishtail inside a gilded acorn worth at least 200 gold points.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Holy shit.
I
mean, if anybody
so
would
it's
have
spell modifier?
Yeah, your spell attack modifier.
Okay, so it's another 9 with a hat. So 12. I am adding it correctly. It is 6 plus 6.
So I don't know if they can see that.
I'm going to call mine the 6 on the plate.
9 with a hat is a 6. So 12 hits.
1d8 plus 4 plus the spell's piercing damage. What the fuck is piercing damage?
What are you doing? The maul?
Yeah.
1d8 plus 4 plus the spell's level piercing damage.
Oh.
Spell level 2.
Bitch.
That is correct.
Totally duh.
So that's awful. So 8.
I know you're rolling kind of medium tonight.
I mean,
that was
awesome.
nice, man. But even that was halved, so it was still medium.
That was his.
All right, 22. That was 22. He summons the ribbit, and it drops right out of nothing. It's like pretty much just the darkness above. Screaming and mauling this thing.
Yeah,
the snakes are all like, and it's like bunny footing it. Anything with your bonus action? No.
No.
Okay. And then you get to go.
Oh,
follow that up.
Nice. Okay. Well, I am going to whackety whack whack whack. Let's see here. So I'm going to hit green scale one since I started on him, and he's engaging the other one. So I'm going to hit him, and as long as it's successful, favored foe will go off as well.
All right.
Does
You're
that
going to do favored foe, or you're going to do hunter's mark?
Favored foe.
Okay.
mark a target's favorite enemy for 1.
Yeah. Hunter's Mark is the better version of it. It does a D6 and 7d4. It's all your attacks. It can move. It's your spell.
But I lose my bonus action, so I can only hit him once when I do Hunter's Mark. Whereas if I do Favored Foe, I can hit him, it hits, and then I can use my bonus action.
Favored Foe is still a bonus action.
When you hit a creature, it
but
happens automatically.
No. It's under your bonus actions. Look at the section you're in.
Bonus action. 2-weapon fighting, Hunter's Mark. Action. No. Favored Foe is other. It's part of my attack. It's... When you hit a creature with an attack roll, you can call on your mystical bond. It's a special action type.
Yeah, I know what the power is.
It doesn't say anything about casting or any of that stuff. Action type special. It doesn't say anything about bonus. So, it's a reaction. No, it's not. It's an other action.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Well, okay.
So that's why I used it last time too, because I don't have to cast it. It just hits.
You used Hunter's Mark last time.
Did I? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Favored Foe, if I hit it with my first attack, Favored Foe goes off. And then my second attack deals another 1d4 damage.
Yeah. And then only every turn, only one of your attacks is going to get that 1d4.
Whereas Hunter's Mark is every attack.
Every attack. So you give up your first two attacks.
So then we'll do the other way around then. So I'll Hunter's Mark him first, and then hit him.
And hit him with your
regular crystal sword.
Yep.
I don't know the stats on that though.
Just roll your short sword, but just roll your short sword.
Shit. It's a dirty 20 to hit.
That hits.
I forgot. The spirit totems that I can cast on bonus.
That's what I was wondering. So you do your short sword damage.
Okay.
Plus your Hunter's Mark damage.
And I'm sending in the piranha.
The piranhas, and grab another D8.
Ooh. That'll be...
Damn. These D6s are fucking hot tonight.
19 damage. Does the additional D8 seem to have any kind of magical effect? Any kind of icy, fiery, darky?
So you take that crystal sword and you swing it. The Hunter's Mark is on him. The arrows are pointing out. You strike. The piranhas come in with the strike. And as you hit, and as the sword draws blood, as it's piercing it and the blood is touching the blade, it reacts and starts shining. Like everywhere the blood is touching the blade starts burning him in white light.
Ooh,
radiant damage.
Yes. What a great cursed blade.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not cursed. Your hands begin to burn. I'm like, son.
Alright. That's everything for you.
That's all I got.
Alright. Metzley runs and jumps and is striking down on the one that the ribbon is on.
I like the image of just this rabbit, or ribbon attached to the guy's face.
I just imagine people coming in midstream and being like, why
What's
is this
a
ribbon doing so much damage? How is he commanding the ribbon?
A rabbit gibbon.
Could call it a gabbit.
That would have been cool if I was if I'd been a bard. But no, I guess the Swarm Keeper is a ranger, but if I'd been some sort of dancer and all of my swarm was ribbons and
you could
ropes and
have
stuff.
been a performer instead of a sage.
Yep.
And taken performance dance. Alright.
Way to fuck up the campaign.
No, it's
Just
really
ideas
good,
for the
really
future.
good.
Swarm Keeper had a lot of neat things, and when I was looking up stuff, a lot of them were the guy that had the chickens. I don't know if you saw that Reddit. I posted it in the Discord, but it was the guy was like, he's like, don't do insects for your swarm. He's like, here's a good example, and this guy was like a farmer, and he commanded chickens, and so it was kind of a cute little comic about the guy commanding his chickens to do stuff and was taking care of them on the farm. But he's like, see, this guy doesn't even know he's a swarm keeper. These chickens just do what he says, and his farm is successful. And then when the village gets burned down, he goes out to help, and the chickens end up coming with him. And I was like, that's kind of fun. And so I was thinking, like, what would a water genasi have? And I was thinking, like, snakes, and, you know, I was thinking of other river things. I thought, you know, piranha would be pretty intense. Plus, they're orange and kind of pretty, and, you know, they can be shiny.
And he is going to bite this man after he comes crashing down with his macawaddle, slamming into the thing's, shoulder? Base of the snake. Smashes into that.
His upper
and
hips.
then he, like, reaches out and then bites the snake head as it's waving next to him. And misses. Pulls back. Like, you don't bite me, I bite you! That's 14, so that means it's... There go. On 9.
I wonder if that artist, like, talked to, like, Wizards of the Coast, and it's like, hey, can we work something out?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
They sound like they don't really like to work with people.
It's enough of a difference that it could be, but who knows? I mean, this is an Elmore painting, so I wonder if she reached out to Elmore or anything. So. All right. He is going to scimitar and bite you.
Me?
Yes, the one covered in scales comes up with his scimitar after just getting burned by you, and he gets an 11, which I don't think is going to hit. Ooh. So it just, you dive or back up out of the way, and it slides through and
quick wall in front of me.
Distract him, and he is going to just lunge forward after that miss and try to get you with his bite. 18.
Yeah, that gets me.
Gotcha.
Come on.
And you are immune to what type of damage? Is it just acid?
Yeah. I don't even think I'm immune. I think that I am
resistant. Okay.
Acid resistance.
Are there any playable characters that are immune to something?
Yeah. Yuan-Ti are immune to poison. The Yuan-Ti purebloods. Tieflings are resistant to fire.
Sorry, they were. I'm resistant to drown, or immune to drowning.
The new Warforged. The new Warforged and the Autognomes, the construct people. I think even the Risen from Ravenloft are like immune to certain poison. I think they're immune to poison.
I mean,
they're not. Yeah.
Like,
so.
what are you gonna poison?
Whoa.
Great.
Oh, you're fine.
It's totally fine. 6, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. It's 19 damage in one hit. And 7 of that was poison. All the rest, was piercing. All the rest was poison damage as he bites into you.
Continue to poison?
No, it's just poison damage. It's not the poison condition.
Gotcha.
So, but you could feel it inject into you and poison your very soul, Mr. Water Genasi.
Several of my fish fall to the ground and start to flop like they're out
and
of
turn
there.
green and black.
They turn greener.
Venom.
It's venom, not poison.
Is the substance itself?
If it comes from your fangs.
Well, I know, I know the delivery method is different. I know a creature is venomous or
poison
poisonous.
is specifically something that you eat.
So, like, once
if it's injected into you,
if you take a creature that's venomous and squirt out its stuff,
and
then put it into food, is it now poison?
No.
So rattlesnake
depends
venom,
on if your body can digest it.
As long as you don't have like an ulcer or something, you can drink up to 2 gallons and it won't affect you.
Your body
because it needs blood. It needs to hit blood.
Because your acid in your stomach will destroy it.
But regardless, this is poison damage because the rules stay so. There is no venom damage. No. It's all lumped into the same thing.
I make the same cheesy joke every time I'm on a trip in New Mexico with my crew because they have signs at the rest stops that say "Caution: Poisonous Animals," and so every time I'm like, "Don't eat any of the snakes."
I bet they love that. I bet they look forward to it.
Oh, I do it just for my own music.
Yeah. So
it's my dad. Hey, look over. it's a truck full of hay. I can't not say it. He has to.
I'm still waiting for the time I can do that one where we drive by cows, and I can say, "Oh, look, a flock of cows." And they're like, "No, herd of cows." Of course, a herd of cows. There's a flock right there.
I was just about to say that, and you beat me to it. All right, so that was the one on him. Now the one on Metzley and the ribbon.
I think I like Gabbett better.
Gabbett? You want to be Gabbett?
Or Gibbet? Gibbet's cool.
So the one that was on, that was the one that I was fighting hit me? It has snake hands too?
Nope,
Or
it bit you with its mouth.
Oh, okay.
With its mouth. Alright, multi-attack. Yanji makes 2 bite attacks using its snake arms! It's going to hit the Gibbet and Metzley. So starting with Metzley. Wow, that's pretty good to hit. 17. And he only has an armor class of 16, so he gets hit. It's the same roll that you just got hit with. But he only takes 12.
Drewby's in our corner.
Now, the one on the Gibbet. That's a 18, which definitely gonna hit.
I'd say he's only 13.
I miss our level 10 characters where you're like, does an 18 hit? You're like, just barely. You know, like, what's Vidix AC? It's 22 currently. You're like, Jesus Christ.
That's also because we were a fucking fighter and a clear.
Well, I know.
Remember the goblin got fucking smashed all the time.
Yeah.
The Gibbet takes 11 damage.
That was a pretty buff combination, cleric fighter.
That's good.
Oh, 30 hit points. Is that more than you?
That you lost?
No, the Gibbet has 30 hit points.
It is one more. There's 2 more hit points than I have yet.
Oh, shit.
11.
I was kind of pleasantly surprised by that Genasi had a pretty good. Like, I have a pretty high constitution because my racial features needed it, or racial traits.
All right. Back to the top of the order, Mr. 22. Lots of damage came back out of these 2 Yuan-Ti as they bite and bite and bite at their aggressors.
Well, first thing is I'm going to throw down a bear totem.
Ba-boom! A bear is sitting in the middle of the room.
Oh, it's 5 plus the druid level. So 8.
8 temporary hit points for everyone, right?
Oh.
And you get advantage on strength checks.
So temporary hit points, if I lose those and then they go away and I drop to 0, I'm dropped, right?
Yeah, they come off first. Think of them as a shield that's over you.
Gotcha.
They have to go through the temporary hit points before they start hitting you again.
Gotcha.
And taking damage should take them from the temp first if you...
Yeah. I've just never applied them before. I've always written them down. I just wanted to see how it worked. It's cool that they're green. Like you can't miss it.
Is it on that? Mine, I'm on the iPad version. Oh. Huh.
It changes so you can't forget it. Not the app, but like the actual mobile for their website is really pretty top notch now. Like they've really fixed a lot of stuff and made it really easy to use. And that's why like I have the app, but the app is like a watered down, blown up version of it. Going to the desktop version on the mobile is beautiful.
Oh yeah,
it's perfect.
Yeah. I'll hop over and help out this guy.
Okay, so you boing into the entangle terrain. Entangle is not a concentration spell, right?
I don't think so. Maybe.
I don't.
Yes, it is.
Oh, then it's gone.
Yeah.
Because Hunter's Mark is also a concentration spell.
Yeah, so Entangle is gone. Oh, also I did not cast Entangle, so...
Boing over and bonk.
I didn't click on my cast for that, so...
So boing and bonk.
Boing and bonk. Boing!
21. I'm assuming hits.
Yeah, that hits their inverse armor class.
Are you doing your bouncy shell-a-lag?
Actually 22 because I've got the...
Oh, yeah, you do have the...
You're doing your bouncy shell-a-lag?
Yep, yeah. Shelalak.
Hey.
So it would be my spell damage plus the 1 because of the thing, right?
Yep.
11.
11 damage. And this is on this one. 5, 2. Okay.
Gibbet go?
The gibbet. Huh.
Jesus.
Oh.
10.
10 misses.
Canna?
Sorry?
Oh no, he's got
we
advantage. He's got pack tactics.
Oh, and yeah, he's also fighting the one that Metzley's fighting, so he has pack tactics from Metzley too.
Oh yeah. 16.
Yeah, that hits.
What was the damage on this fucker again?
Was a D8 plus spell level plus
4.
something plus 4. So D8 plus 6, right?
9.
You guys are mauling and bashing and biting and bonking, and this thing is just flailing away with those arms. That was 22. 17.
Sweet. I'm feeling a little more juiced up, so I'm going to go ahead and continue smacking.
Alright. First attack with the Crystal Blade. Nat 1.
Good thing we didn't use that. Make it 24.
That'll hit. You want to roll your second attack?
Sure. That's a 21.
That'll both hit. So the first attack.
First one is D6 plus Hunter's Mark plus Piranha.
Plus D8.
Plus D8.
Because the crystal.
Ooh, not as impressive. So 6, 7, 10 for the first hit.
Is that with your bonus?
Yeah. Oh, no.
Gotta add your dex. Should be on your...
Yeah. That's plus another 4. What did I say?
10.
10, so 14. And then the second hit is just the regular damage plus the Hunter's Mark, which is 11 more damage. So the total would have been 25 altogether.
You added your plus 4 to that one?
Mm-hmm. So it's 11 on the second one and then 14 on the first one. 25 altogether.
Okay. Because you do get your bonus to the second hand because you have 2 weapon fighting.
I added the 4 of them. Yeah.
Cool. Alright.
It's my dex.
Yeah, he is getting all kinds of cut up.
And bonked up.
And bonked
A
up.
couple of bucks.
Couple bunks. What do you think, Wackus Bunkus? Kill him. Naughty Wackus Bunkus.
No idea what that's referencing.
It's it was like from a YouTube British comedy like skit that they're talking about Caligula.
And it's actually
Little Boots.
It's actually a takeoff of Biggest Dickus from Life of Brian. Do you have a problem with the fact that my friend's name is Biggest Dickus?
It's also a joke against all Roman names because he has a hammer that he's talking about all these people he's killed. A detective comes and he's like, this party, like this bad thing happened to this party. And he's like, well, yeah, this guy got his head bashed. And this guy's like, oh, no, that's the priest. He gave me a hammer to kill the sacrificial ghost, but I thought it'd be funner to kill the priest instead. And he goes through, like, he's killed everyone at the party, but the actual crime is that someone said a bad thing about him or something like that. And so, like, the detective's like, wow, you're a real psychopath, and kind of walks off. And he's still got the hammer, and he goes, What do you think, Wackus Bunkus? Kill him. You naughty Wackus Bunkus.
Well, that's the name of my new quarter set.
Wackus Bunkus. All right. You carved into this guy pretty successfully. Again, another flash of light as the radiant saber comes through. You feel something. You feel like you can draw on the warmth being produced by this radiance, if you so want.
I'm pretty open to new experiences. If the blade is offering me something, I'll give it a taste.
Do you remember what you got on the D8?
It's showing a 2, so I'll guess a 2. But I don't remember offhand.
Just go ahead and roll a D8 again, since we just don't have
1.
Let's go with a 2. So you get 2 hit points back.
All right.
You can pretty much add this to your thing now. It is a crystal blade short sword. You can read it over and see what it does.
Crystal blade short sword?
Yep. If you start typing in manage a gear, just type in crystal. Should be there pretty fast. Crystal blade. Space, not all one word.
No, I know.
And look for the short sword variant.
Crystal greatsword, crystal longsword,
Crystal
rapier, scimitar, short sword.
Here it is. That was him. Now it's Metzley. Metzley swings his Macawaddle and has advantage because of pack tactics.
Wait, does that apply to...
Oh, it doesn't apply to yourself.
Well,
He has it.
Oh, so that's all.
I think they just
the charges.
have it, and since
Huh?
I thought it only applied to the person who had it.
No, well, his is different than his. So, Metzley's is he gives it to everyone else. He gives advantage to everyone else. Where his is, yes, he gets it as long as one other person is there. So, anyway, he missed with his sword again. He's going to try to bite. Oof, he almost got a natural 20.
It's funny.
He hits with his bite.
Using that I used my last charge to give myself 2 hit points back. So, like, I've done 2 radiant damages.
I know it has 3 charge.
I know, but I've hit and damaged with the radiant damage twice, and I've...
The radiant damage doesn't use charges.
Oh!
Just the healing. So you have 3 uses of the healing a day,
Yes.
but it always does that 1d8 radiant damage.
Damn, this is going to be cool.
I kind of wondering if I should have done the hawk to get. You can use your reaction for an advantage on attack.
You guys got a lot of ways to get advantage.
Yeah.
Metzley attacked the wrong thing. He shouldn't have attacked the one the gibbet was on, because if he went to the one he was on, then he would have gotten advantage for all of his attacks. So he has to remember to do that next time.
Why would I have gotten those?
Because he is a barbarian of the totem, and his totem is Jaguar, who gives anyone else attacking what he's attacking advantage.
Oh, okay.
So while he's attacking something, he's the leader of the pack, and it's focused totally on him.
We could switch. I can disengage without reaction.
So he bit it.
Stop doing that. That's gross.
It's super gross.
At least I guess biting a snake's not as bad as biting a ghoul.
I mean, these aren't really snakes, though. They're like evil snake man beings.
Curse
It's still not like... There's what's the name of the... Joe Haldeman wrote a book series I love. But they go to a different planet and they end up getting into war with the creatures there, and he's never even seen one, and so he basically deploys, he sees one for the first time, and he and his friends shoot it dead, basically. And when they hit it, it kind of bursts, and it bleeds red, and he mentions, he's like, all of God's creatures get hemoglobin. That's how he says it. It's like, everything that bleeds red, no matter what planet you were on or what.
That's not true.
I know that, but that's just what he said.
That was his takeaway.
Anything that was fighting back is going to bleed red.
All right. He bites this thing right in its little dumb snake arm. And it's like the snake is biting him and he's biting the snake.
I like that this thing is like terrifying, but every time Metzley fights it, we like trivialize its scary. Like, he bites its stupid snakehead.
That goes to them now. So, now that two of you are here, he sees a funny little bunny rabbit. So he's going to swing his scimitar at you. Actually, no, you're doing all the damage. He's gonna hit you twice. Scimitar for nat 20.
Just barely.
Just barely. And the bite for 23. So
that's a little more of a solid hit. He only beat my armor class by 8.
A unicorn. The unicorn totem would have been useful here too.
Yep.
Yeah, actually, that would have been nice.
All right, the scimitar. 12 damage.
Well, at least you got the 8 extra hit points, right?
It's true. I'm still up.
And now
his bite. Would you be
bite.
down without it? Would you be down without it?
Yes.
Oh my god, this guy.
Because, this guy's venom damage is bad enough.
14.
Yeah, I drop like a sack of potatoes.
And it rears its head back,
So,
blood coming down its mouth, and it looks at you.
You're going to have to tell me what happens to the aspect of Adeliadel when I'm not conscious. Because I don't really control. It came to me.
Yeah, it is dormant, and they are all basically flopping around you at the moment.
Okay, so they're on the ground.
Yeah.
Like what I was saying earlier. All right, so the swarm is down.
Yeah, they're flopping on the ground.
I'm doing the same. They're like underneath me, making me flop.
Now the one on Metzley and the Gibbet. One attack for each. So Metzley gets missed. The Gibbet gets missed with the same roll. I get a 22 if I put them both together.
But you can't.
Kith. So what?
Okay.
That is 9. So we're back to 22. Things are not looking so great now.
How's this little snake bastard looking?
This is a short-term campaign. This is like 3 sessions.
I mean, he's cut up. He is pretty, he's not showing any pain. He actually looks like every time he's gotten hit, he almost seems like he likes it.
We'll give him some more then.
Or he can get you up.
Free turn.
Yeah, I've got some death saves to make. I'm alright.
Question is, can you take as much damage as he took in one turn if you don't drop him?
Can you have any buffs? Can you load up?
No. Pretty much all my buffs are already out.
Well, you're going to do double damage. Change the attack on your ribbon to the guy that you're attacking me. Just double up.
No, I think he's fine where he is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just whether or not I can
Looks like it's the same flavor.
drop him this turn, which it doesn't sound like I can.
Rob him?
Drop him.
Oh, drop him.
I just want you to, if you happen to fail dropping him, think about the consequences. Do what you want. I'm not saying you have to heal, I'm just saying plan accordingly. You can also bunny hop out of... Where is...
Is she outside?
Did I lock her out?
She went to the dog door earlier.
Andy!
She's not out there either. That's my fault, sorry. Damn, she's been out there for 45 minutes.
No, she's probably been sitting there.
Sorry about that.
That's alright.
Dave, we got her.
I wonder if she might have gone out the back if we didn't close the...
Oh, like she didn't, like she went out front and just came around here?
Yeah. Danny.
Well, I just mess everything up, huh? Story of my life, Judy. Hey, something went wrong? I bet Mitch did it.
Yeah, it was closed out there. So.
Yeah, so it was me. Sorry, Manny.
She's a good dog.
Yeah.
Can't even fucking stand being...
She came outside with me earlier. I guess I just didn't see her not come back in.
Did you enjoy your time out unsupervised?
Probably just sitting there forever like, guys?
Yeah, she got there for like 45 minutes.
Longest pee break ever. All right.
She's like, that's what I always want. And then she has it, and she's like, okay, never mind.
Yeah. All right. What's your plan there, Oling?
No, I'm gonna get him up. The question is, do I want to do level 2 of it? Yeah, we'll go ahead and do level 2. That is if I'm able to touch him.
You are? You're right next to him.
I'm dry.
He's drying up as you speak, as he speaks. As he dies.
As I lay drying. Hey.
Get out. Get out. Get out.
I don't even have your edition. I have to add it.
How much?
13.
And then add your spell attack bonus, right?
Yep.
Or your wisdom modifier.
Spell ability modifier.
Yep, so your wisdom.
Oh, so
not the spell attack, just the ability modifier.
Okay, so plus 4, so 11.
You have 11 hit points. Some of your fish get up.
About a third of the group. That.
I'm only doing this because you go after me, so...
Yeah.
Any bonus action or anything like that?
I mean, yeah, I'm not going to hop away or anything. But the gibbet.
Go to town.
I can't fucking remember what this guy's attack is.
Need to make a little card
right.
for him.
14.
Hits.
Twelve damage. Thing is, you guys are going to drop faster.
They are not slouches. Yeah, this thing is still up. It's flailing. It's kind of like staggering back now, buckling under the combined assault of the...
It's just attached to its head. I was going to say it also has the rabbit's head, the gibbon's body, but its legs are rabbits.
The rabbit...
So it's just holding on.
Get it out! Get it out!
Weird ass animal.
But like a gibbon, the end of its paws are hands.
Ugh, that's creepy.
Here's what I'm afraid of: is if I attack it and kill it, great. If I attack it and I don't kill it, it's just going to drop me again. But if I take a healing potion or cure wounds, it's also just going to drop me again. so I've got to attack.
You can't out-heal damage.
The reason why I brought you up.
You can't out-heal the damage output.
Yeah, so
the reason why I brought you up instead of me hitting it
is
because you can do more damage than me.
All right, here we go. It's my turn, right?
Yep.
17. All right, it's just double swats.
Swat.
24.
That hits.
And a 16.
Yep.
Really?
12 hits these things.
All right.
They're not really in armor.
The first hit is regular. Did I lose my concentration by being put under concentration?
Since it's been one, it wasn't even one whole turn. I'm gonna say you can pick it back up.
So
in the same manner you could have moved
Hunter's Mark, Piranhas, and Radiant. Damage.
And remember,
strike. 12, 17, 18.
Damn, these D6s are really fucking hot today.
Sorry, 13, 18. 22 damage.
And do you want to take that 5 as healing?
I do want to take that 5 as healing.
Okay. Give me 1 second before you go on.
It's okay, I've got to adjust my stuff here. There we go.
It, like, screaming at, like, as you get back up, and it's like focusing on you. You reach over, touch him. He stands back up, and you just stab with that thing. It lights him up from the inside, and you can just like hear him sizzling and burning from the radiant damage. And he kind of spits up some blood and venom, and then kind of falls to his knees and slides off your blade.
Whew, that was close.
I say next time I should stop with that maneuver.
Yeah. You have another opportunity.
Yep. So
a few more
you can
fish come up. Yeah.
you can move and take your second attack.
All right, I will do such.
Move over to the other one.
Strike the other one.
You have advantage.
Advantage, so
You might get a 20.
yeah. So we'll get a 25 to hit.
Oh yeah, that hits.
But it's just a hunter's mark and regular damage. Oh no,
It's not a hunter's mark because you haven't been able to move it yet.
That's fine. So 7 on him, but still, it's better than nothing. I ain't no slouching either.
You are a very martial, good-looking water.
I seem to be getting wet even as we talk. This battle is making me sweaty.
And you rush over there, like, oh, I should have just started with that. And then you run over, slide, and as like basically the Gibbet is like up on the face, and Metzli is up and tangled in the arms, biting them. You slide like kind of underneath and take out this one's gut as well with your second short sword, spilling its entrails onto the ground, and the snakes like start coughing up blood, and he starts coughing up blood and falls back.
I have to say, the wings and the salami and pepperoni make a very gross burp taste.
Have a cookie, it might help.
So I'm sure you're adding like watermelon and black cherry flavors isn't going well either.
Yeah.
That's something, now that I don't drink, I don't ever come across juice anymore. I don't have there's no juice in my fridge, and like I don't have juice with anything. Because you have like mimosas or like screwdrivers or like vodka cranberry or something like that. Apparently that's the only time I ever had any juice. Because I was just thinking about it the other day. I was at a restaurant and juice was one of the options. I'm like, when was the last time I even had any juice?
Orange juice in the morning is pretty fucking good.
No. I'm a milk guy. I like milk.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
What are you, 7?
No, look how pretty my teeth are. In the front. Bad back here.
You hear a hiss coming from the entryway, and the woman steps forward into the light, and she looks angry. She is the one that was looking over the stuff when you first found them, and she like hisses and says, "You will never find the cold pyramid. The sunless citadel will not be for you. We shall extinguish the night." And she turns into a whole bunch of snakes again and
Try charm.
slither out. You charm one. It's like, oh, hey.
Where's the temple?
We will never get the cold temple.
The cold ziggurat.
And then
I can't do that, right?
No, you cannot.
And then she said what after that?
She also referred to it as the sunless citadel.
The sunless.
the Cold Ziggurat, the Sunless Citadel.
That'd be funny if she just gave it away. Oh, and fucking Metsu's like, I know where that is.
Oh yeah, that's right over here. Did she say the crown will be ours? I can't remember.
No, whatever.
She said something. She said something about the eclipse or not the eclipse, but the friggin'.
You lost me at Sunless Citadel. I was still writing those.
What did she say, Derby? I can't remember now.
He's actually there.
She just said all of that now because you said it.
Because she said it. What shit? God, it hisses. But basically, that the Endless Night. The Endless Night will be hers. You know, you can't stop the Endless Night or something like that. And turn to snakes and.
Can't stop the fever, please.
Yeah. Fever of the flavor. I got fever.
She also said, "Don't stop believing."
Yeah. Don't stop.
I am a snake.
So. It really irritates me that it had 4 bumps. It said bump. I'm like, nope, it does not have 4.
Where does it say that?
On that sheet, shit posting.
Is it like bump?
It's sweet, like, you know, Sweet Caroline.
Bump.
Yeah,
it's bump.
Not bump.
That's
I'm like,
what?
what?
That triplet's the only way I can get in there. Bump.
Yeah. You're wrong, shit posting.
Alright. Well, chaps, it seems there's...
This is not sad posting.
Yeah. Who made that channel, by the way?
Me, as soon as you said this is
Bastard.
sad posting.
Oh, excuse me. Well, it would appear that this entire jungle is doing nothing but trying to warn us from going to this ziggurat. What's up?
Just your accent is totally not like...
I know, it's hard to hold on to. It really feels like one of Rob's accents from a while back, and I can't remember who he was playing with.
Yeah,
I believe me, it's one of these things. We can do it like this. What do you say? How do you feel about it?
It's probably
But Laszlo, this is how he speaks. I say, chap, let's take a breath on this and maybe put a pin in it for now and move on.
It's probably Finchurch.
It seems that many people are trying to keep us from this cold ziggurat. This dreams I'm having.
It's just like, it's not an accent that I'd associate with a ranger.
Exactly, he's a sage.
I'm an intellectual.
Yeah.
That's why I picked Laszlo. He thinks he's smarter than he is. You know, he's got this old world knowledge that he hasn't applied to the last 200 years. He's just been fucking around, literally and figuratively.
Oh, that's all.
I like him a lot. I think everybody kind of starts. I think, you know, main character is the main character. You know, everyone's a fan of. Why am I losing his name? Nandor at first. Like, I really like Nandor, but I don't know. Laszlo turned out to be my favorite. That Jackie Daytona fucking episode. I don't know. It had me in stitches. It's the stupidest fucking episode.
I mean, they're all pretty fucking.
They're all dumb, but that one was just a league of stupid. The whole time, I don't know if you've seen the series or not, but
I have no idea. Oh, you're talking about what we do in the shadows.
The series, but there's a scene where one of the guys runs away to avoid paying a bet, but he ends up going to Texas and just creating a new identity for himself. But he like owns a bar. He goes by Jackie Daytona, and his disguise is a toothpick. It's just stupid as fuck. But god damn it, I love that episode.
So I was just find where these fucking snakes are going. And I will try.
Do the snakes look like they're going in a direction, or are they just?
They're leaving. Yeah, they're getting out of this oracle area.
No, I mean, do they seem to move? Like, are they still a conscious group? Or
yes, they're all escaping out the door.
Well, let's follow them.
Can I try and bonk one?
How far can you move in a turn?
If I use a bonus action, 40.
Yeah, you can try to bonk one.
Bonk the fuck out of the snake.
Been having a high AC. Ooh. 23.
What's Shaleva? Yeah, 24.
Alright, so you smash a snake into blood and guts. You want to continue on smashing snakes as much as you can?
I say let's
yeah.
You like
what's that? Oh, that Simpsons episode. really old one. It was when they did all the
Whacking Day.
Yeah.
Where it's the one thing Homer is really good at is Whacking Day.
So you pound a couple snakes on the way out, and you get to that alcove, and a lot of them just go into the water and start swimming through the water. Some go, out the normal way.
So they are scattering.
They are kind of scattering. They're not going
to... If we wish to give chase, perhaps stop smacking them and let's see if we can't follow.
I keep smacking.
That's in the case. I'll make an attempt to try to chase one of the snakes down.
Let's do a survival for tracking.
I don't think this is going to go anywhere, but I can't just let people hit me in the face. Survival, you said?
Uh-huh.
I mean, this is just purely a YouTube video at this point for me. Oh, shit.
Yeah, you are distracted as shit hitting snakes.
What'd you get?
23.
You can follow the snakes. They just kind of, a snake or two, keep your eye on a couple of them, and then they just kind of go out into the forest and up trees and try to go between branches and stuff. They just kind of...
They look like they're just snakes. They don't have any kind of tandem consciousness, apparently.
It'll be funny is when we see her again, she's just a little bit shorter.
She's missing one finger.
Alright, I'll give up the chase.
Oh, that's true. Huh?
I'll give up.
Yeah, it just seems like... Who knows how her little transformation works. It could be just a complete distraction, and she teleported away. Or she could have transferred her consciousness into a single snake, which you could... from 100 snakes, you'd have to be pretty lucky. Or it's, who knows. She might be able to just have all of them and then reform from even a single snake that survives.
Or we got lucky and Oling bashed like the command snake and we just don't know it yet.
You never see her again. She's just gone.
Well, Metzley, as much as it pains me to say it, lead on to Tilia Kehime.
Alright, well, we just have to climb these falls.
Well, I mean, shouldn't we take a little... You got pretty messed up.
I guess we should. I mean, but we can't rest here. We have to go back into the...
Well, it's daytime.
It's daytime, so the shadows aren't out.
I'm just saying a short rest. Well, you don't need to take a nap or make a tent or anything like that.
Short rest.
Yeah. We can just
spin some hit dice, get some heals.
Short rest. Oops, let's
see if this short rest removes the temporary hit points.
Hey, I got 8 hit points back. Did it give it to me? No, it did not.
Nope. So
nice. Hell yeah, I'm feeling great. Good idea.
Yeah, remove your temp points.
I did, didn't I? Yeah, I don't have my temp. Well, my temp hit points are gone because I died.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, I always forget about short rest. Just some hit points back.
Yep.
I mean, I don't have any spells left, but that's okay.
And for Vedic, that was the only rest he needed to refresh everything.
Yeah, everything got his came back.
Point.
And if you had anything that comes back, when you hit the button, it does it. So
yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah, my spirit.
Well, I mean, I didn't use anything. I just had all I had is some spells. I used 2 spell slots, but
does rage a long rest?
D&D Beyond.
It's so good.
I'll never go back to sheets. You know what's funny is I was cleaning up I was digging around in I was digging around in the game room and I found the old End of the World notes that I made, stuff with everybody's hit points and things like that and all of their dexterities and stuff, and I was like, paper.
It's like all these really cool things, supplements come out, different worlds, all these things. I'm like, if you ain't D&D Beyond, the chances of me using you are very slim.
Like End of the World, I'll still use the sheet, just to play or whatever. Just to have your
like Savage Worlds. The other games are like, I find now that I really want simpler games. I want Savage Worlds or End of the World, because like if I have to do Shadowrun on a sheet again, oof.
Well, I mean, we spent 3 sessions talking about characters and getting set up, and then we spent an entire session sitting down and sheeting our characters and like talking about background and stuff. That was pretty intense.
Yeah, Shadowrun's no joke. Well, it's kind of a joke now.
Well, I remember Taylor asking, she's like, "How'd your game go?" She's like, "Is it going good?" And like, "We haven't started yet." She's like, "Haven't you already been like 3 times?" I'm like, "Yeah, we haven't even started yet." It's been intense. I was like, your character sheet is like 3 pages long. It was nuts.
So
we give up the ghost and come on back.
Take a little quick rest. Finish your meals that kind of interrupted. Finish going through and if you don't take the tributes yourself, then someone else is just going to steal them.
Yeah,
so,
I get it. So we'll take what we can.
Did you write that down last week?
We have about 80 gold points. We need to separate once we get back to town because it's like trinkets and odds and ends.
Yes.
And then we got our weapons. So we got the ring, the crystal short sword, and then there was a spearish weapon, or is that the short sword?
No, that is the short sword.
Okay. It had a spearhead look to the blade.
Yes,
okay,
it's a yik.
Because it's actually a crystal dragon's spine piece. It's a shard of his spine. That's what the instructions say.
Oh, yeah, no. It is definitely not that. Yes, this crystal short sword and the way they get the magic items from is that. This isn't that, though.
Gotcha.
It just does the same things.
Okay, but we got...
Excuse me.
I mean, there was carvings and calendars, ingots of minerals, gems, curious trinkets, but out of that, we just got the 80 gold worth of stuff.
It is 370 gold pieces worth of stuff.
80 is from behind, so then I did not write that. 300 and what, sorry?
So it's 370 gold pieces worth of corn. Sorry, this is total.
Of corn.
Let's go with this. 245 gold of metals. Okay. So that is bars, big bars, bars, ingots, coins, and coin type things, medallions, stuff like that. It wouldn't be coins as far as someone would say in Sword Coast as a standard currency. These are just minted or formed metal pieces that are 245 gold pieces in coinage that you can have converted over when you get back.
Gotcha.
There are 125 gold pieces worth of art objects, like objects you think you can sell for that much. The silver ewer, which is that silver pitcher that has all the embossed imagery on it, and 3 carved bone statuettes. It's either carved bone or carved ivory.
I remember that thing.
And a gold medallion with a person's face carved in it. It looks like it's made out of jade.
Okay. And that's it, right? Besides
and then the ring, and then the crystal blade.
Right. Okay, cool. And the ring and the sword. Okay, so I have bookkeeping is done. Right.
And then he's like, if we want to make up for lost time, we can climb straight up. If you guys all feel you can do it. Otherwise, it'll take a couple hours to go far enough around to get out and back up to the lake.
I'd say that rest has more than energized me.
All
Let's make our way up the falls.
Athletics.
Right, and so the piranhas start to swim up the thing like they're salmon jumping up a waterfall, even though it's completely vertical.
Yeah.
12.
Okay.
Athletics. Hey, Ranger. Got a little bit of every. Ooh.
How long does your bear totem last?
Would have expired for a short rest.
Because it gives advantage on strength checks.
Yeah.
Just wondering if it was still around.
Yeah, it lasts for 1 minute.
Oh yeah. I don't know if I want to use my.
What'd you get?
8. Pretty low.
It is pretty low. It's not enough to fall to your death or anything, but it'll definitely be a delay.
Yeah, let's see. I'm in a hurry. That's a little better. 13.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Just 12. So.
Why do you have so many of these here?
Huh? Just why do I own that many, or why do I have? Because
I just grabbed it once and put it over here.
Well, because in games like Savage Worlds, everyone starts with 3 to 5, and then there's no limit to how many you can hold. Okay. So
that's right. We did have groups of 5 when we were playing our Savage World stuff. That's right. We went through quite a bit of those.
So and then there's other games that do quite a bit of tokens as things.
Plus, we might want to play poker.
I have the whole case over there full of the entire set.
I think everybody over 30 has one of those.
I don't
either, now that I say that.
Yeah.
Only one
I was pretty impressed with this one.
by our metric.
Because it's not clay, but it's resin, and they put a small metal weight inside to give it the heaviness, the same weight of an actual clay chip.
My father-in-law has a
ceramic chip.
He and his, like all the men in his family, like at Christmas and Thanksgiving and stuff like that, and play poker. And like the adults would go in one room, and like the kids weren't allowed. And now he likes to do that, like at Christmas. Like one of the ways that he gives everybody Christmas money is he gives you $20, and then we all gamble it.
And then he wins it all back.
No, usually, like the last year was the first year that I didn't like clean the fuck up. And I always feel bad because, like, I'm not, like, I am part of the family, but, like, I'm a marriage. And, like, we go up to the cabin and the whole family sits down and I just slowly take everything until I get up to, like, you know, the $180 range. Taylor has, like, $4 for Brothers Busted.
You wrote it in their face, right?
No. I try to make sure that I can continue to play every year. I try not to gloat or make a big deal about it, but, like, I've only lost 1 year out of, like, 7.
So you make it to the top of the falls, and begin your travel. Again, Metzley says, like, it's fast down the river. It's easy. It's there. It's a direct shot, but the river is also very dangerous. Mm-hmm. So, do we want to stay in the river, or do we want to go further into the jungle?
I asked the nearest animal.
All right. There are. Let's see.
It's fun.
It is fun. There are 3 storks, or very long-legged kind of birds, just sitting kind of in a small little tidal pool off to the side of where the waterfall keels over. Just like a little pool that's pooling up on the side and not being part of the full river flow. And they're just sitting there, and like small fish that are being dragged down the river are getting stuck in here, and they're just having a buffet over there.
Hey, good eating.
Oh, hi, how's it going? Oh, hi. You want some of these? North. Hi.
No, I'm good. Do you guys want some fish?
Too small for me.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't turn down a fish.
Yeah.
The piranha go and get the fish.
They kind of like the birds like whoa.
Oh no, they're good piranha.
Good piranha. I didn't know there were such things as good piranha. One of them tries to eat one.
I love that these
No,
are
not good tasting.
A different type of gibbon. Because a gibbon is a bird too.
Yeah.
They're not. They wouldn't be large like this gibbon or small fisher birds, but
yeah, these are flamingo, stork, like just very long-legged island birds. These have some pretty kind of bland plumage, just white stomachs, but their backs kind of go a little bit silverish with streaks of like yellow.
You have very beautiful feathers.
Oh, thank you. It's almost the same color as these fish.
Almost. I can see where the color comes from.
Yeah, we really like it.
Secretary bird.
Yeah, kind of like that.
We're traveling north. Do you know anything about that?
North, like
or upriver?
It's actually it's
directions with no maps.
Yeah, it's east, southeast-ish. So, like, you guys are out on a peninsula. You were up at the northernmost western part of the peninsula. Now you're going deep down into the jungle as it like kind of goes in. So,
what is your charisma?
14. I have the highest charisma out of everyone here.
Yeah,
and it's not great.
I remember us talking about that, but I didn't realize mine was nothing.
The black pools are up there. You don't want to go that way or down there.
Yes. That's what we're looking for.
Oh, why would you want to go there?
We
don't even fly over that place.
Really? What have you heard about it?
Well, anything that any of us that have ever gone in there, so I've heard, doesn't come out. And you can't walk around there. There's no fish in the pools. It's all sticky. And apparently the pools will move to eat you.
I say, while you chatter with that bird, see which way should we take, the jungle or the river?
Ah, yes. Well, we have to go there. God, did I just go into the Canadian accent?
Are you going to the Canadian accent as well?
Just make Owen Canadian. That would be fantastic. Well, I guess if he was speaking bird and the bird is speaking Canadian, you'd have to do the same thing.
Well, technically, the bird shouldn't be able to really communicate all that much information.
No. This is very much a lot of interpretation and me wanting to do voices for these stupid animals.
Yeah. What it is they can understand what I'm saying, and I can.
No, I know. I'm being an idiot.
Well, we have to go there anyway, so we're looking for a route. Would the river, you think, be safer, or to stay in the jungle? Go for war.
Are they just buy a box of watermelon?
No,
It's only mango watermelon.
Oh, okay.
In the big packs.
It is?
Yeah.
No, we had some black cherry.
Oh, it's black cherry. So it is 3. It's black cherry, watermelon,
They just happened. I was like, I feel like the last 5 that I grabbed were just watermelon.
I do like watermelon. I like the watermelon. These, I don't really care for the watermelon.
I don't like watermelon very much.
Oh, well.
Cinnamon I'm slowly getting better at just because I keep running into cinnamon candy. And the last 2 times it happened.
Not a fan of fake cinnamon.
Well, dude, cherry is my favorite flavor. Unfortunately, this is the color of cherry flavored candy and the color of cinnamon candy. And I hate cinnamon candy. But the last 2 times I put it in my mouth, it wasn't the same, like, as it normally is. I think I'm kind of normalizing to it. I wouldn't say it's my favorite flavor. Could be worse. My brother and sister hate mint. They brush their teeth every day. They had to suffer through it their whole lives. Now my brother and my mom, like, if I go to their house, they have cinnamon flavored toothpaste. Oh my god, it's torture.
You get the children's bubblegum flavored toothpaste.
My in-laws have orange mint. It's really good. So orange and mint really do go together. It's just toothpaste and orange juice don't go together because there's a foaming agent in toothpaste that makes it takes the acidity out of the orange juice. So you just end up with that bitter, nasty flavor, which I actually don't mind. But I like some bitter flavors. Okay, so we made it up to the top. What do the animals say about?
So yes.
Well, we gotta get over there. What would you suggest? The following the river or trying to the jungle?
Well, there's been a lot of buzzing things around. We've been heading north just to get out of the area. So be on the lookout for that. They're mean suckers.
Like little buzzies?
No, they're a little bit bigger than you.
And they're in the jungle?
Uh-huh. Yeah, they're in the jungle. They're moving all over the place, though. But they like the water, so watch out for that. Though, I heard that Ao is in this stretch of the river.
Ao?
Ao, yeah. Do you say Ao out loud?
I mean, they can't say it.
They can understand anything you say in any language you say it in.
Yeah, but if they say AO,
you interpret it and say what it's back.
Yeah, then yeah.
And Metzley's like, Ao. Aodal?
Aodal? I say to the cranes.
Oh, sure.
Storks.
What's a toll between me and you? So Aodal is well, I'm not surprised that you're talking about him, but he's the turtle on the totem and on the falls. Aodal is the spirit of the tortoise and an aspect of the Mother Earth of Ukteo.
Friends say of Adel.
What do you
say? He's a real nice fella.
Oh, that's good. Will he let us pass through the river?
I don't think he's ever stopped anyone before.
This is good news.
But again, there's the buzzing thing, so watch out for them.
Buzzing things, yes.
Hey, maybe you warn Ao that he's there too.
Oh, we will. You got all that?
I mean, it's just birds squawking.
I did just say the birds that Oling talked to mentioned Aodal, the turtle from the totem. He may be a friend? I mean, is that what...
Oh, yeah, they
Metzley is not... Metzley's kind of excited to hear about another spirit around, or this spirit in particular.
Maybe a spirit that helps us. We'll see.
Well, thank you very much.
Oh, good luck. I mean, we probably won't ever see you again because you're going to the dark place, but...
Yeah, that's a possibility. But I appreciate the help. I'll give Aodal your what does Storks give?
Children?
I'll give him your children.
Got him. So, down the river, you say? Or not?
Yes, I think the river sounds like a good idea. What about you?
If your avian friends suggest a safe course of action, who are we to question them? They make their day here.
I mean, they are just storks. But I think it's a good idea.
It'll be faster.
Just fish?
Yeah, I am interested to...
It's this.
All right,
it's
you got it.
It's right there.
It's intense. There's something going on right here. I just hit myself in the face with a pencil and then caught it back out of the air. Like that's.
All right, we have to pull that one out.
Yeah.
Drew, if you're not there, that's a bummer.
Please clip that. Yeah. So it's like
that'll make Kaylin feel better. I cannot believe I just did that. I think myself pretty soundly. You could hear it go click.
You unleashed a little lead in the process.
All right. So let's head down the banks then.
So tell me about Aodal. This sounds very fascinating. We have spirits in our Feywilds as well. They can sometimes be mean, but not all the time. Have you met a spirit?
Yes. So I'll send the fish around you. I'll ask them to take their original form that I saw them in.
Oh, that's right.
Will they do it?
Yeah,
yeah,
they'll do it.
They clump and turn into balls of
the shimmery water,
and then back into the fish. I believe this aspect of Adleodal is a spirit of some sort.
Wait, we should be quiet. There's things in the forest that buzz. They're bigger than me.
Oh, that's not good.
Why not?
Well, I mean, is it a lot of little things or one big thing that buzzes?
I don't know. I didn't ask.
Huh. Well, there are swarms of insects that will strip the flesh right off your bones in seconds.
Oh.
If there's swarms in this area, then that is bad news.
But they said they were bigger than me.
All right. Well,
the buzzing
if there's
larger than you were.
If there are single insects that big, they're probably bad news as well. But at least we could kill those. Swarms are a little bit.
Well, maybe we can talk to them.
I say, have you any experience talking to swarms?
Yeah. Remember the centipedes?
I mean, didn't you speak with a singular centipede?
No, you talked to the whole group.
Collective.
Yeah, he told them all where food was, and they decided to they gave him a wide berth.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, then I feel pretty secure with Oleg speaking to a swarm.
Well,
with words.
I mean, we'll see. We've never run into any hostile swarms.
He pulls out the little sack, the little tube, basically, of the insect repellent again, and like, your ears, and gives them to you to.
I don't use it. Remember?
You do.
I put it
just
in yes.
It gets diluted, so you have to use less,
right.
but at least get the smell on you.
Yeah. The piranhas start nipping at bugs as they see them insects because we're near the water's edge. I just want them to start thinking about insect munching.
So that ring you said is magical, and it has waves on it. Does it have something to do with the water?
Can't say without putting it on, but anyone using a magical item incurs some sort of risk, just as I have with lifting this crystal sword. Be my guest if you're feeling brave.
Well, I mean...
I welcome the chance to see how you feel wearing it.
Yeah, wear it. It looks good.
Any difference, chap?
Nope.
Your hand looks prettier.
How would you experience water breathing? Would you know, or would you have to... I said, it's got water upon it. Ask the waves to do something as I do, and I'll do shape water to see if he can... And I'll kind of explain the idea behind it. I make a... I make a water piranha.
Like he slams his hand into the water and dunks up.
Meanwhile, there's one piranha made out of water going in and out in a perfect loop. I'll dissipate it. Perhaps you can make water. And I'll explain how water is made.
You guys are walking down this.
Yeah, perhaps you can destroy the water.
Like, puts it in his hands. Beyond.
Now, this may be a bit of a gamble, but try inhaling this little bit of water. Put it in your mouth, and instead of gurgling, go.
Oh, we'll figure it out eventually.
Should I take it off, or should I just leave it on?
Oh, it looks good.
No, all right.
I mean, if you aren't experiencing any sort of ill effect,
You need to attune to magic items, right?
Yeah, not this one though. You can feel that, like when you detect magic, it's not strong enough enchantment magic to need the personal attunement to power it.
Perhaps it has some sort of charge to it. Perhaps you should show him a bit of casting ice knife or something. Perhaps he might get emotion down from some sort of casting spell. So maybe we'll, I have some understanding of minor magic. Perhaps we can work on him trying to cast something.
He looks for like a word or an activation word or anything, doesn't find that. Now, normally with activation words, like if your activation, because you're attuned to it, you knew that you could activate it. Since this requires no attunement, if it had an activation, they would generally put something on it, right? So he says something like he uses the Chultan words for water and, deluge and rain, and like he just tries to go through anything that is associated with water, and none of it works.
Perhaps it provides some sort of protection, but I'd rather not find out by attacking you. Perhaps you can just wear it for a time. See if perhaps it offers some sort of liquid armor or some sort.
Perceptions while you guys are jaunting down the river, having all these conversations about magical items.
Yes, 6 with a hat. I have an upside down 6 on a plate. 13.
You have a 9 on a plate?
Yeah, 9 on a plate. But that's just a 9.
Yeah. Well, no, a 9 on a plate is a 6.
That's right.
A 6 with a hat is a 9.
It's a 9 on a plate.
The thing is, like, a 6 with a hat should, like, the hat should be on the top, right? Like
9 on a plate with a 6 with a hat. 13 is what I actually rolled.
What did you?
Was it a 6 or was it a fucking 9?
What did you get?
24.
All right. So as these two are talking and playing with water and all that kind of stuff, let's see, you got 14, 15, 17. So you definitely hear it first. You're like, boop, boop, boop. Your ears like go, like one of your ears like in towards the jungle and like twitch. This thing comes zipping out of the jungle at a speed that is alarming. It looks like a hornet, but it's a hornet that's like this big.
It's not a mosquito,
Its
though, right?
sword, like its stinger, is almost sword-like, and its mouth has these wicked mandibles. It's got these just disgusting, like, sack underneath its throat that just seems like pulsing with goo type stuff. And this thing comes out so fast and goes right for you because they're over by the river. And you can feel your staff wanting to defend you. The little seed of light in it starts to glow. Do you activate it?
So we haven't even seen it yet.
You are, like, he started to warn you, so you start
in
to...
Australia? Yeah, we're in D&D Australia.
You guys are in D&D horrible, like, Amazon/Australia/
So I was originally going to make scorpions for my swarm, and then Dave was telling me that they fly. And I was like, spider bees. So Google spider bee comic, and you'll see this little guy did this really stupid little spider bee comic, and that was the theme song. So there you
go. Yes, I like that.
All right.
It just reminded me of the. Do orcs just think all elven blades glow all the
time? Elven swords just glow.
If a flying creature you can see within 30 feet makes an attack roll against you, you can use your reaction to hold the staff aloft and cause it to flare with light. The attacker has disadvantage on the attack roll and must succeed on a DC 15 Constitution saving throw or be blinded until the start of its next turn. As the seed glows and it goes on the inside of those carved feathers, and it gets so bright it just kind of makes a and all these super bright glowing feathers blast up into the air, and this thing is coming towards them, and you just see it doesn't have eyelids or anything like that, but it just reels from it. So first off, go ahead and get that Constitution saving throw, which it fails, and it is now blinded.
Constitution. Roll your Constitution.
And it got a 2 and an 8.
If you really want to see a terrifying insect, look up the Goliath bird eater. It's a great spider.
2 and an 8 to hit you. And it's going on. So that's a 6 and a 12. Neither of them hit you, right? Like the 6 doesn't hit you because that's what it had to roll.
Yeah.
Your staff that you can now add to your equipment is the Sky Blinder staff.
That is a perfect staff for a rabbit.
Huh? Yeah. Oh, flying things come and attack me? Run!
You see a fucking photo of the bald eagle that missed its perch and hit its fucking
Bam! So this thing dive bombs down on you with its blade-like stinger. Your skyblind goes off. It kind of veers off and just like totally misses you. Gets kind of turned upside down and just plants itself into the ground hard. So it's on the ground. Everyone gets a free round to do whatever they want to this thing.
If I can entangle it, then it'll be fucked. Because it's on the ground, so entangle.
And that is a strength saving throw. 6. It is entangled. So it is immobile, prone and immobilized, right?
A creature in the area you cast a spell must succeed in strength, blah, blah, blah. It's restrained. Creature restrained by the plants can use its action to make a strength check against your spell save DC on a successful itself.
So the ground reaches up and grabs it. What do you want to do?
Animal friendship?
It is a monstrosity.
So would I have to cast and fail?
No.
Okay.
You can feel that you can feel that most bugs, especially unnatural, large, and things like that, are not going to be in the animal kingdom.
You know, that's a hard thing in 3rd grade is when you learn that bugs are animals.
Yeah.
Like that's part of my curriculum is to teach you that an insect is still classified as an animal.
Huh.
I mean, it's not an mammal, but it's just not an animal.
I feel like I've always kind of known that. I don't remember ever being
it's like plants, animals, and then
it's not plants. Yeah. It's not.
You have life. You
people.
Have plants or animals. That's it.
Fungus.
But fungus are considered
bacteria.
We teach the structure of life, just plant and animal.
Though fungus have more in common with humans than
they
do with plants.
So we don't get into there. In
yeah.
Grade, but 3rd grade is when you start talking about insects as animals, and kids are like, "What? It's a creature." Yeah.
So,
bonus action, Shalala.
Shalayla. I'm gonna knock you to your knees, Shalayla.
I still like my Shalayla.
Shalayla.
What's that fucking Family Guy song?
I don't know. Are you Bird? Bird.
No. It was like one of the early ones, and they joked that as soon as that episode came out, the Google search for that word just skyrocketed.
For what word?
Can't remember.
It was when Peter was a football team in England. Like he was a football, like American football in England.
I missed the beginning of the conversation, so I don't know what we're talking about.
Family Guy song.
Peanut Butter Jelly Time?
No, it wasn't Family Guy. They stole it. The guy who made it was so pissed when I saw that.
Yeah.
What the fuck are we talking about? Family Guy's song.
Family Guy song. Because we were singing songs about Shalayla.
Oh.
Triggered him to think about this Family Guy song.
Where Peter was playing football.
In England,
but American football.
Triggered a word search on Google so much that it skyrocketed whatever that song's name was or word was.
Anyway, 14.
You have advantage. It is restrained and prone.
Okay. 24.
Yeah, you definitely hit it.
I'm so sorry. We can be friends.
I don't think this wants to be friends with anyone.
13.
You hit hard.
How much?
13.
Fuck yeah. You just brained that thing. Oh, you hit a poor
Shaboopy.
defenseless bug.
Shaboopy?
Shaboopy. The girl you couldn't get.
How much did you? 14? Jesus, we
13.
still talk about this stuff? Alright, so that's that. You entangled. Metzley is like, holy crap!
Yeah, is this Shaboopy?
Marry me.
And he rages and hits
plus 1. So 14.
Good. I accidentally added a different additional slash that I was going to remember to not count next time. Rages attacks.
Shapoopy. Girl that's hard to get.
18.
So not Shalala. So that was.
It is Shapoopy.
If you go to Google Trends and you look up that word in Shapoopy, you're going to see a spike when that episode aired.
Yeah, Shapoopy by the Music Band, 1962.
Okay. He smashes it with his Maxwaddle.
Sexist ass lyrics, sorry.
You just broke Dave's brain.
All right. So we're just, since this thing is entangled and prone, I'm not going to have to roll initiative yet. I'm just going to roll at the beginning to see if this thing even breaks free.
Is it still blind?
It is not still. It is blind until the start of its next turn. So it is not still blind, but it is still entangled. It failed to get out.
Strength check against my spell save DC,
which is 12.
Yeah. Okay.
It's 8 plus your spell casting.
I see.
Plus your level.
Oh, it also adds to my spell attack. Cool.
Yes. That's the big thing, is like it works for your ice knife as well. I don't think I was adding that, but you always hit. Alright. So it's still restrained, so whatever you guys want to do to this thing.
I wanted to be friends.
I mean, I guess we can we just say that we finish it off, or I mean, we'll have to try. No, we have to try it.
You have to.
If we don't kill
you
it,
can try to coup de grace it.
Yeah, that's what I want to try to do. I mean, we're forest folk. I mean, this thing's a monster or whatever, but it's entangled. We've fucked it up pretty bad. Let's just finish it off.
All right.
So I want to try to just give it a go.
Roll to hit with advantage because it's prone.
All right, so a 19.
Okay. You slay it. So you just get up over top of it.
Slayer.
And cut through it. When you cut through, like, you basically put your blade on its, where its head attaches to its abdomen and push through. And as you push through on that, it bursts that thing that is
thorax
under its neck, and all these like eggs spill out, and you can see the little writhing maggots, like already fully formed maggots in the eggs, just waiting to go.
Does everybody have any fire? We'll just torch it.
Yeah. So, does anyone have any fire?
We have torches.
I know you have torches, like, you just start up. I was just wondering if anyone had any, like...
I think I have oil.
Wait,
I have stupid sage. I don't have any fucking oil.
I was just wondering if anyone had, like, a spell that just started fire. So,
yeah, Druidcraft can.
Okay.
Can it? Prestidigitation can.
It's instantly light or snuff out a candle, a torch, or a small candle.
Oh yeah, then you can start your torch.
I mean, I could use destroy water to kill any liquid that they have in their sacks.
Not really. No.
Yeah, that would be ridiculous if you can just be like, "Hey, human,
Destroy
that's
water.
70% water."
No, so you start a torch, and you can light up the entangled foliage and just burn this thing. That is actually, for this creature, that is like the only way to get rid of the maggots if it gets them into you, is to actually burn yourself.
Yeah, Druidcraft is pretty much prestidigitation.
Would it also give you weather predictions?
Yeah, weather predictions. I can't do lights.
You
or
can
stuff,
grow
but I can,
plants.
Make
little,
a
like,
flower
seeds.
blossom, a seed pod open, a leaf bud. I can do sensory effects like falling leaves, puff of wind, sound of a small animal.
That'd be so great if you're trying to like persuade somebody. You're like, follow me, and all these fall. I'd be like, all right.
Yeah, it's like prestidigitation without.
But just for nature.
Yeah.
Like prestidigitation is like, I'm in my my wizard's tower. I'm gonna look very impressive. But Druidcraft is like, I'm in the forest and I'm gonna make
flower.
The birds sing and all the flowers bloom around me and the leaves swirl up my skirt.
Yeah, and predict weather.
And predict weather, which is a cool little, like, it actually makes the little image in your hand of what the weather's like. Sun or rain cloud just appears. It is actually a surprisingly clear day today.
I predict the weather.
There's going to be storms later on. And it's not just regular storms. Like, it's...
It's just like watching the Weather Channel on my phone.
Yep. You see, like, the sun comes up for right now, and then these clouds, like...
So I wrote, Olin predicts unusual storm activity this evening. You say like 6.
It's not really unusual. It's just heavy.
Yeah.
6:30.
I don't know what that means. But when the sun is lower, yes.
So evening.
I don't know what that means either. Oh yeah, I do. I remember that one guy told me.
I feel like rabbits would have more times of day.
No, there's sun there, sun there, sun there, sun there, sun there. No sun.
I always pictured animal calendars where they were like cool but grass is wet, or like warm but grass is wet. Like the day has just gotten to the point where it is warm outside but the grass still has dew, which would be one period of the day, and then it would be like flowers are open would be an hour or two, that sort of stuff. Yeah, that's what I always imagined, like herbivores.
I'm not an animal.
Yeah. Oh, so that's Mitch just saying that anyway. All right.
Everything you say in character.
Yeah, all right.
The hardcore. No, we're not doing that.
That would be horrible.
That would be horrible.
That's what we're gonna have to do. That we might have to play like that instead of that first thing you say campaign. We were gonna play a game where it's whatever the first thing comes out of your fucking mouth. You just
everything you say is
everything is in character.
Is in character.
I'm gonna have to get the Louis bunny ears if we do that.
There's some people. So there's this TikToker that I follow, and she does several things, but one of them is her claim to fame was owls. She does owl headdress type things that the ears actually move. So she does rabbit ears now that do twitch and move when you want them to.
Did you see that mask that was like the dog's face? That when you actually open your mouth,
it moves.
It opens. I thought that was pretty cool.
I saw a really cool Anubis costume that had that. The guy had like made armor and everything, and it had the Anubis head, but when he opened his mouth, it would open too. The eyes lit on it too.
I love Anubis.
Dude, this
my favorite death god.
I think this is the summer where I'm going to start playing with the blue foam, which is that cosplay stuff that they use the wire cutters on and things like that. So
you're going to play Solaris.
No, blue foam.
Dude, you
totally get into blue foam.
People miss like you guys
you
don't
do some
understand.
amazing stuff.
64 days off in a row is a fucking lot of time.
You don't understand Solaris.
Also,
it's a good point, but
Ghost of Saltmarsh.
That's fine. I'm just saying. I like Taylor would put a list of stuff to do on the refrigerator. I would finish all of that shit and watch 6 hours of TV like 4 days a week and still have like 3 days that I had nothing to do. Like you can get so much done.
Anubis was my favorite death god until I read Sandman series. Then, of course, Death was my favorite death god.
I just want to make a power armor. It doesn't have to be from a game or anything. I just want to, I even just do it from scratch. And they get moon boots so that when you put the feet on, so you're an extra 3 or 4 inches taller, so when you walk, they're big. We went to Comic-Con a couple years ago, and some guys were in power armor from Fallout, and I was looking at how they made it, and I was like, you fucking assholes.
There's some great stuff with that foam.
I was like, it can't be that easy, and so I started looking at tutorials and stuff, and I was like, go fuck yourself. That's all it is? Don't get me wrong, when you make like a pauldron, you can't just make a curved shape. Yeah. So you have to put slits and then you fold it, and then you can just paint it with Bondo. Yep. Or put in a clay and then Bondo. And you just paint it. And once I saw that, I was like, dude, you can make anything with that stuff. It holds glue. You can sand it. You can do all kinds. I was like, whatever. Sorry, I'm distracted.
All right. Yeah. You destroy this bug, burn its corpse, and carry on, hoping you don't see any more of those. Did you add the Skyblind staff, right? Mm-hmm.
He's animal.
Yeah, we never figured out what those guys that were following us were. Where could we?
Who? What?
I'm guessing they were raptors.
Oh, I said it in the recap.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, they were raptors.
Yeah, that's fine. I realized that the recap came in while I was in the car, so I only read like a chunk of it at a red light. I need to finish it.
I think I figured out what this did.
What was that? I mean, it seems to have incapacitated your insect deck there.
Yeah.
By the way, Natsu, have you seen anything of that sort? Is that a normal denizen of your jungle?
No. And I don't want to ever see anything like that again. Did you guys attune your things?
Yes. Okay. Natsu, METZTLI, right?
Yes.
That's what I thought. So, I'm going to ask him a little bit about that then. The bug is not a natural thing.
Well, not that he's ever seen. There are many things that he has never seen in this jungle.
Okay, so I misconstrued that.
Yeah, there's a lot of just terrible stuff in this place.
Yeah, it didn't seem to listen to me, so I don't. It's truly.
Have you run into other animals that can understand you? Perhaps I should have tried. My mind's a bit weary from the day.
There was this guy who tried to rob me on the street once. He wouldn't listen to me.
I will say that encounter has shaken me a little, making me realize that we could probably use some rest sometime soon before we press on much further.
We should probably get as much... If this is only one of these things, we should put as much distance as possible. Especially if it already had young, however many more young it made.
We also might want to consider getting a better shelter for when the sun's over here.
All right. Well, I will look for shelter. You want to help me look? Well, let's put some distance. Let's try to find some better shelter.
So that's what we're going to call it for the day. Then we're not going to continue to try to make it to.
You're going to continue down the river to put distance, but also you're not going to get there for a couple days anyway.
All right. So shelter is
survival.
Yes. 15. Finally, some good rolls. No way.
He got 18. What'd you
22.
Get? All right, so you guys both.
Oh wait, yes, 22. Sorry.
You make your way upriver and you find some rapids. And the great thing about rapids, it means that there's lots of rock around. Like it's
happy how these rapids.
These rapids. Means that there's rock around, so the terrain gets a little bit more rocky and all that kind of stuff. So you kind of spread out and look around. And you can find some. It's not caves, like it's not like a big dark deep cave, but it's just enough of like rocks together that they form a shelter. And Metzley goes in, makes sure there's no insects, animals, anything like that. Looks for spore, things like that. Once it's determined safe, you guys go out. You get a whole bunch of. I can't. Probably know what it's called. Just like dead leaves and nettles and things like that.
Detritus or something?
Like, it's something like survivalists call it something, but you take a whole bunch of that stuff, like that just on the ground, and you coat the foliage. It's,
Not foliages.
It's a little bit more determined, but you lay down a nice big thick carpets of it inside to give you cushion. Then he also sets up rocks outside. Because since it's going to be raining, you don't want water just pouring into this place. You picked one that's a little bit higher up and not, going to get slanted into with water or the area. Put up rocks to make a little dam outside that he stuffs with mud and more detritus. And you create a little shelter in there. And he makes a little... fire pit close to the entrance so that the smoke will not build up inside, but also not be smothered by the rain. And by the time you're finished putting your little makeshift shelter together, you can see the storm clouds just rolling in from the from the west.
That really irritates me sometimes when we play these games, because like in real life, I like to think I have a really good sense of direction. As long as we play these games and we talk, and I'm like, I don't even know where. Like, I don't know what side of the continent we're on, and like we argued so much about Baldur's Gate, man.
Baldur's Gate threw me
threw
me for such a loop, and I don't know. Like, mainly that it's first off, it bothers me or gets me that the Sword Coast is the West Coast. When it, for some reason, to me, it very much feels like it should be. As an American, like the East Coast, old world type thing.
See, when I kind of imagined it was more Europe in a lot of those.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. But also the guy's Canadian that made it, one of the two. And so to him it was Vancouver, like the north rustic area.
We had those first couple of weeks where Rob kept asking how many days it was going to get from the, how long it was going to take us to get from the gate back to the pie. We're like, dude, it's not even a mile. And like that slowly got into my brain too, where I'm like, yeah, is this going to take all day? And like, it's a mile. I'm like, wait, I'm the one that was saying it was a mile. Like, why am I? He expanded the size of Baldur's Gate for me because he kept kind of not getting that it was smaller.
No, I surveyed 3/4 of a mile on Friday on an emergency survey, and that took me less than
that's like
afternoon.
my house is on an eighth of an acre.
Yeah.
So it's like even that's not that big.
One thing you have to think of is like these, like Baldur's Gate. Like if you go to Waterdeep, it's a massive city. It takes up multiple miles. I can't remember how big it is, but you can also like it's wide paved cobblestone streets, and you can have carriages and horses to take you anywhere. Baldur's has no animals.
Tall and gross.
Yeah, no animals inside. So if you can't walk there, then it's not in the city.
Yeah.
Like that's a travel away. Like that's a day's travel away if you couldn't just walk there in one day. No business would get done.
I think the next game we play that brings us to Baldur's Gate, I think I'm going to focus on that more, like how gross
it is bad.
Because this time we talked about it a little bit, but we spent so much time there that it kind of got normalized and they didn't bring it up anymore. But the more I think about it, the size of it and stuff, it would be so dense, it would be so nasty. Like Baldur's Gate would stink and be...
Yeah, it's a terrible place.
It'd be dangerous just because you'd be so close to everybody, like disease and fire and just, ugh, God, people throwing shit out their windows, shitting on the street, it would just be nasty.
I mean... cities today.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm imagining like an overcrowded city in like a third world country, but with like Industrial Revolution era buildings almost.
I gotta go pee real quick.
I guess we could take a tiny break since we didn't
really get a break. So the storm rolls in, and you guys huddle in your little makeshift shelter. He does put he covers the entrance with a canvas. You light a small, you don't even really light a fire. What you do is you light a fire before he puts the canvas over, let it burn, and he puts rocks in, and then he snuffs the fire so that now you just have hot coals and rocks in the pit just to keep the place warm. And then he puts the canvas over. So, and you guys can speak what you want, but you don't really You'll probably have watches. You don't really need to do... Not much is going to be out there in this storm. We'll be right back. It'll be a super fast break. We had technical difficulties earlier, so we didn't really get a break. Got a late start and didn't really get a break. So, be right back.
This is the first time in a while that there's been food left over.
Right.
There's still little wings and tray. We shouldn't have had so much chompies before the food got here.
I want another one of those chocolate cookies.
No, I can't decide if I want. I don't know. Have you had? You've only had one of these, right?
I've only had one of those, but I don't.
I think
it's not my favorite.
No, then I'll take that one.
I really like the chocolate covered ones. I thought that was I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh, you don't want to go outside at that time? She's like, I don't want to go outside. I might get stuck. Okay.
Yeah, it's either on very tight or not on at all. You gonna go outside?
Yeah, I'm not gonna smoke, but I went out there for a second. We can go out for a second if you want. These guys are so small.
Doesn't matter, Nick.
Yeah, just go stay out there. It's nice.
And did you go outside again?
No, she wanted to come out with me by myself. Her chances of coming back in here not 100%.
Alright. So, what is the...
Yeah, it's like a personal problem. I'm just not laugh anymore. I'm not going in afterwards.
Oh, okay, we're back. Hello. Give me. You open up the cookies.
I will. You want the chocolate?
Yeah, I do.
Actually, I have one easy out of my one too.
Thank you.
I have to. Danny, come here.
Jeez.
Come on. Oh, I can't really do it from that angle.
Yeah, get around the other side.
Go. Up. All the way.
Mm-hmm.
All the way. All the way.
Come on.
Yes. Listen to these lyrics for Shapoopy.
Do we want to say this on the stream?
Oh yeah. Well.
Up. Up. All the way.
God damn, those lyrics are bad.
Come on. Up. Up. Yeah. Come on. Hey. Up.
Now it's a trick.
No. Come on. Around. This way. Come on.
What are you doing, girl? Alright, so the storm rolls in and batters this area. You can hear the river behind you.
You said we don't have to take rests or rest.
You don't need to really take
Shifts
watches
or
now.
Can we do our long rest?
You can do your long rest.
It's a good session when you have to take 3 rests.
Dungeon crawls.
Well, we started our...
You will like take all of your long rests that you can possibly take. Use up all of your...
We did that in Castle Never.
Hit dice.
The Dragonborn campaign. That was like 6 sessions, and it was intense.
It was
like
ridiculous.
That's the only time I think we played where we were like, we walk 30 feet and investigate again. Like, poking everything with the stick,
No.
Yeah, I ate it. You weren't doing what you were told.
Anything you guys want to talk about, discuss, do?
I mean, I'll talk endlessly about nothing.
Unfortunately, I probably would too.
Metzley just...
Oh, listen.
Metzley interjects when addressed or something relevant that he knows pops up.
Well, this would be a fun time to tell everybody. Let's see, what was it? I guess I could explain myself a little bit. So I'm from Silvery Moon, and my youth was touched by the Genasi, and I explained that, when I was a teenager that this started happening, and I turned green. And
that must have been so weird and frightening.
It was weird, and then I go through about how now studying the Genasi has become my life's work, and finding out why this happened to me, and specifically is kind of the start of it. So I've left Silvery Moon. I've left all of the actual college to pursue my own studies. So this is like my life's work now. This is the very beginning of it, because now I've gotten all the tools and all that stuff ready to go, and I'm going to be out searching for any information about.
I am
Genasi.
honored to be a part of your story.
Oh, thank you, chap. That's very nice of you.
Yours too.
And then I'll tie that into
A Patch of Night will be your story as well.
Oh, well, huh? I like that too. I can't get them, but
You can dye your fur. It's even more temporary. You can change it whenever you wanted. We have berries that stain in just about any colors you would want.
Yes, there are many places where they use insect parts. Guts as pigments. Blood has been used for many millennia.
He doesn't like when things have to die.
I don't like when large bugs attack me, but it happens from time to time. Can't shelter each other from everything forever. How will you ever learn unless you experience?
no, I experience. So anybody have any ghost stories?
Well, as a historian, I have lots of ghost stories. Yes.
Roll a history
Yeah,
check.
it's a history. Fuck yeah, 15.
You tell several ghost stories from all over the Sword Coast.
That's funny because earlier I was looking at my skills and I was like, could I tell a story using history instead of performance?
Yeah.
So
I mean, if it's just academic,
yeah. And then you're like, hey, tell us a ghost story. I'm like, well, fuck yeah, history.
Let's see.
That's like one of the first performance roles me as a player has ever succeeded in.
And it wasn't
a performance role.
19 also for Metzley to tell you some ghost stories from around here, but his are pretty terrible. Like undead rising from the graves, and
My constitution saves me from the fear of it.
or spirits that just are malevolent and very, very much unlike Sword Coast type of mythology, where we have to figure out how to save this ghost and free it. They're just terrible. Like, there's nothing redeeming left. Up, bandolier, up. What?
You are no poodle. Come on. Hey. Up.
What's up, Bandy?
Oh, that's me. You're not getting any treats at all because we're just trying to make you do it. I know, whatever. I'm the uncle spoiler. Anyway.
So yeah.
So we tell some great stories.
You tell some great stories, and then eventually, the storm breaks.
And then eventually...
You guys have rested, slept, a little cuddle puddle inside this small
A very
alcove
tight cuddle
after the ghost stories.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I'm good on another one for now.
You it goes into the morning. The storm doesn't break, and even when it does break, it is foggy and misty outside. is still very, very wet. It all is still drizzling, but this massive fog has lifted from the heat. Hey, Bandy.
I'm just looking.
I was just looking. What's your problem? A massive fog is lifted from the foliage and ground that is being warmed by the way too hot and prevalent sun here after the long night of saturation. So it is very, very misty, foggy, and still like almost like just wet. Like it's like you're walking through water.
I'm right at home.
Yeah, you're fine.
The fish look happier.
Yep, they're like,
they're swimming instead. And, wonderful weather we're having this morning.
Well, this is either a good omen because it will hide our tracks through the jungle, or it's a bad omen that something is stalking us through the fog.
I choose to think of it as a good omen. I feel at home, at peace here. The fish are happy. The insects are down. Remove a ration from your backpack, lads.
Yeah. How you guys doing on rations?
6. But we're out 4 days, so not good. We're halfway. We have like 1 more day left before we've got to start figuring out what we're going to do about that.
I mean, I've got the Wanderer, Outlander.
Oh yeah, that's not even a roll, right? You just forage.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was going to say because we've.
How many people can you do that for? Is it just you?
No, it's.
And I would say too that I've just been using my create water that I get once
Yeah,
a day.
that keeps
that's,
you like.
That's how we're all drinking.
Water, yeah, water. Water is separate than rations in this instance because you need 2 gallons of water every day in Chult because of how hot and
that's why
rough it is. You make 10 gallons, you've got everyone covered every day as long as you're. We just have to assume that you're using most of that. Like that ability is used every day.
That's what I was saying. So yesterday was the first time I've mentioned using it because we were trying to get him to do his stuff, but I would assume that we'd had water on hand for me to do that. Yeah.
I mean, obviously up to you because, as you said before, like water is it's everywhere. But it says I can find food and fresh water for yourself, and up to 5 other people each day.
You're pretty good. It is rougher here because this is definitely not like the Feywild or any other forest you've been in. But as long as you have Metzli with you, you're fine because he can keep you away from. Like I'm just gonna go pick berries, and he's like, "Hold on, and the plants here will eat you if you go up to the wrong one."
I mean.
So
I'm also a druid,
right?
And like you can, bitter berries are probably not good.
So,
and a rabbit.
So are you gonna try to? Yeah, you're just a rabbit. You just eat leaves. Are you sticking close to the banks?
That's Rabbit and Metzli's choice because he talked to the cranes, and Metzli's kind of our guy.
So you've.
Well, we do want to find the turtle.
It's true, and I feel safer near the water because I can use it for cover. But that means I
you
can
do have
you guys.
You have noticed that Metzli is very anti being around the water,
Right,
and that's just because of his tribal mentality and things like that. Like that's where he would hunt, right? That's where
near the water,
right? Everything needs to go to water, so that's where you hunt things. So in his mind, that's where you get preyed upon. So he definitely has a predilection of you don't go near water unless you need the water.
So I guess
that's his.
Well,
but
let's follow him and go just beyond the line then, because I'll still be close enough. And the fog is making me feel open to whatever today. So,
but as you've seen, it's staying along the river. Fastest way to not get lost. The river is going exactly where you need to go. If you get lost in this fog, also water person. You want to find this turtle, like.
So we'll leave it to you because I want to do the water. He wants to do the jungle.
I would say let's stick close to the water.
Then we'll stick close to the water section. That was the original plan.
He's got his Macawaddle out. He's on guard because of the fog. I mean, the fog really has him on edge.
As much as I feel safer with your macchiato out, perhaps you should relax at least a touch. You're making yourself nervous.
If you let your guard down in a fog like this, that's when they get you.
I left Laszlo and became Cain. Stay a while.
And listen.
Who's that?
Any of the monstrosities and creatures out here.
Could I use shape water to move fog?
Yeah. It's water. It's mist.
I mean, I can also gust some wind to move it.
Right.
But that also draws attention to us.
It draws attention
all I can do is push a 5-foot cube of it. So I'm just kind of drawing into that.
Just part a little bit in front of you to keep an eye.
I'm trying to do it in front of Metzley so he feels better. Letting him see that he can see farther.
Well, there is also it'll draw attention to us if everything's fog except for where we're at.
Too late. I already did it.
Well, I'm telling you now.
I know. I'm listening though. I'm just saying too late. I already did it.
We'll stop it.
Oh, sorry. Too late. I've already done it. There you go. Too late. I've already done it.
It's too late now.
Too late now. It's already been done. I did it.
I don't wanna.
2 years.
I'm not gonna put up my hands because I don't wanna.
Got this shape of water up my ass.
Some fog up your ass. So you guys are making your way through the fog. The fog is thick and does not burn off in later parts of the day, which kind of tells you that the sun is probably not full blaring out and it's still raining and cloudy. If it's going to, otherwise, if the sun was out, it would eventually burn off the fog. But it's still raining, still saturating the ground, still sweltering hot, releasing the fog, but not enough sun or dryness to burn it off.
And what's the weather forecast?
So you look at it. You see fog, you see rain, like drizzly rain, and that pretty much just persists for as long as your forecasts can go. I think it's the next day.
Yeah.
I think it's one day out.
I make one of the piranha very small, and it swims in your prediction. If you pet it, it bites you. It just grabs while you.
Yeah, it's like it's sitting on the end of your finger, like.
It grabs one of your hands.
So what is it? 1 day?
24 hours. 24
hours. Yeah. So it seems like this is going to be like this for the rest of today, at least. Do your ears like you have the hood?
No, they've got holes.
So the whole, so you throw the hood up and they pop out the hood.
I need them for
the. All right. Perception's disadvantage, unless you have some type of thing that gives you advantage.
No.
Well, I don't think you can roll worse than that, so I don't even need to roll my disadvantage.
14.
I was going to say, too, that if there were any perceptions that I wanted to roll with disadvantage anyway, because I would be having the best day I've had in the channel so far.
Oh, this feels so
nice,
good.
it's wet, I am not paying attention at all.
What'd you get?
14.
All right, so you're going along, you're following the riverbank, and you noticed that you hit a point in the riverbank where it kind of jags right. As you're heading down, it jags a little bit off. And you start heading that way, but when you look, you realize that this isn't the bank of the river. Something has moved the water up here. And you kind of think of the giant hippo and how it had, dammed up everything and created that big pool, which pushed beyond where the normal flow of the river. Something is moving the water up and out to places it normally isn't going. It's going around something.
Is the water moving like in an unnatural way?
No, it's still moving naturally.
Redirected.
But yeah, it's like it's going through, and you can look down and you can see that it's going over plants. Like plants that are full-grown, normal plants are being just drowned because it's up and over them now. The water line is moved up over the normal area of the bank of the river.
That's it. Would you say this is some sort of local?
You didn't notice.
Oh, that's right. I got a one.
That's be the turtle like the hippo.
What?
Displaced water. The turtle.
There's displaced water.
Yeah,
the hippo.
Oh no! I mean, the turtle spirit. What? Adel.
Ao. Aodal. Yeah. The birds called him. The birds called him Ao, and he called them Aodal.
I mean, is he big? Is he like hippo?
Well, it depends on the aspect. Sometimes they're just small, and sometimes they're massive.
Sometimes they're fish.
Sometimes they're alligators, and sometimes they're monsters.
Sometimes they're fish.
What? Can you go check?
Can I go check what?
It's Aodal.
Whoa, no.
Uh-oh. We're not going to have to hear that scream again, are we?
Yes.
Oh.
No.
I'd very much like to meet him. Or her. I don't... What are her pronouns?
Aodal.
Ao?
Yeah.
You would call him they.
Him. They.
Sorry, he said it wrong. You call them they. That's what he says.
Can you?
What are you doing? What are you
He
asking
wants
him?
me to go see if the turtle is out there displacing the water.
Okay.
Why don't you come with me?
Because he can't breathe in the water.
I see. All right, yeah. Seems a perfect day for a swim. I mean, I am in a good mood. I'm being an idiot right now, so sounds good.
All right.
Watch the fucking snapping turtle.
Break you.
Can I, let's see here. So, shape water, I can reach my hand in and change the direction that the water is moving in like a 5-foot cube.
Okay.
That means I can also kind of tell where it's flowing from, I would assume. Can I tell like where it's where the direction the overflow would be coming from?
Make me a nature check.
Yeah, that seems about right. Bad Ranger, 8. So no.
I mean, having that ability allowed you to use it, but like you're just like, no, the river seems to be flowing still pretty normally.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of, so it has to be that there might be something on the opposite bank that's pushing it this way.
Yeah. All right, I'll go in. How deep is it? It gets deep quick.
So like, you're going, you're like up to your calves and then knees. Like I lost the word calves for a second.
I was like, Genasi still have knees.
Yeah, I wasn't knees yet. Like just calves, then knees, then I just wanted to say thighs for some reason. Yeah. Jump too fast. Get down to your thighs, and then you see this large. In the fog, it looks like a boulder has come crashing down into the river. Mm. So like there's this like you look up and it's 9 feet of just sheer, rough, textured, gray rock that's in this. Of course, it's through fog, and the fog is clinging to it.
What is the visibility of the water?
You're not even in it yet.
I'm just saying the water, like, is it brown? Can I see
Oh,
it?
no, yeah, it is. The river is pretty muddy, murky.
So, I don't know. Mitch doesn't know. Does that affect visibility in game?
Yes.
Okay, cool. That's what I thought. All right. So I was just going to say I'd go underwater, but that won't help me out any to see what's going on. All right, I'll approach it. I mean, I'm looking for a giant turtle.
All right.
It's like a big-ass rock.
You walk up to this big gray rock.
It doesn't appear to be tortoise shell or anything like that?
No. Okay.
Alright. Well, I'll wade back and kind of call out and let them know what I found. That it's just a big rock, unless the turtle is not awake.
Water rushes up, like as you walk back, so it's back to like your calf. Mm-hmm. Water rushes up to your thigh, and then goes down, and you guys can all see that the water goes down almost back to where the original bank was.
Can I see where the turtle or the rock is?
You not from this length, not from this distance.
So I'll head back just a touch. Like, can I kind of jog back?
As you start to go back, you don't see where the rock is, but something is raining water down in that area.
I'll holler back to them then. Like, I mean, I know we haven't gone that far, so there's not too much danger. But
yeah, like you guys were within.
I'd say I've
20 feet of each other.
believe
15
I've
feet.
found a yodel over here in the water. Come and join us.
At this point, I've already clambered up. Metzel is just an excitement.
Metzel starts walking in. Metzli starts walking in after you.
I will pull out my sword and make it give off light. Yeah.
Something pushes, and you can see the fog and it's like moving as this big shadow is looming, and there's water just pouring underneath it, and this massive piece of something descends through the shadow right to your glowing blade, and then there's this like 14-foot tall tortoise head in the fog, just and just dripping water. It's got moss and foliage on it that's grown over it. And you can see like its mouth is kind of like down around the bottom, and its two massive eyes up still in the fog are trying to focus on this tiny little pinprick of light.
Well, while I have his attention, are they near me now?
They're right behind you. Yep.
Well, Oling, if you are ever going to speak with an animal, might be the time.
Like at first, I'm just in awe.
Yeah, for sure. And I might whisper to Metzli, it's an animal, right?
It's a spirit and an animal. It's anything it wants to be.
Are you a yodel?
Some people call me that.
Is he speaking common?
No. But for some reason you can understand him anyway.
I'm Oling.
Does he have speak to player?
Speak to humanoids.
speak to PC.
He's speaking Chultan, so it's a little bit it's kind of rough to you, but he's not really speaking Chultan. It's just you're understanding it as Chultan.
Gotcha.
I'm Oling. This is Metzli, and this is
I'm sorry, I can't see you through this fog.
Oh.
We can't see much through this fog either. That's why I've lit my little sword here to bring my friends closer.
Just see that little light you're holding.
I mean, we don't need to be seen. I just wanted to meet you. As I said, I'm Oling Umgale. I am from the Feywilds.
I've been there.
Hmm?
He's been.
What's your favorite restaurant?
Toadstools.
The whole place. Also, what is this? Because this is creepy ass jungle music.
It is. It's called Jungle Ruins.
You can hear someone walking through mud.
Yeah,
it's a good one. Let's see. I mean, what do we need from this jungle? You guys just wanted to meet the giant turtle. I mean, can we? Is there? What is?
No, what can you not ask him?
True.
Well, we're traveling. We're going to the
what
pits.
am I saying? Yeah.
And we heard you were along this river, so we came this way.
You are going to the. Why would you go there? It is.
Well, he's having dreams.
Blighted.
Yes, well, I must say I'm here researching, myself, really. My first foray into the jungle brought these aspects of Aodal to me. Adeliodal. And I'll send them up to him.
His head tilts. water runs down, and
seeing
then
them, so I'll make them glow a little so that you can see them. Or no, I'll make them take the original form, which takes some thought because I'm starting to forget that that's what it looked like. They're just fish.
You guys want to do any of your things to try to clear up the area around him?
Yeah, we could do that. Really, I want to talk to him more about
gust of wind. Yeah. He can't he's having trouble seeing you, which could be a problem if you want to try to show him things.
Yeah.
You want to destroy water?
I mean, it's only a 5-foot cube, so I would only be able to knock a piece out that big.
Is that a spell?
Yeah, it's a cantrip.
Wait, no, not create water, not control water.
Oh.
Create, destroy water. If you instead of creating water,
10 gallons of water in an open container within range, you can destroy fog in a 30-foot cube.
There.
I didn't see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that means that today we will have to find water.
Yeah, okay. You have water enough to get you through, but you'll be behind a day basically.
Right. So then I'll in front of him.
Oh! You see this massive turtle head up in the air, and you see his neck going back, and you can now see through the cleared area his massive shell, and he's just this basically walking hill. Aristotle. This is just a piece. It seems to have taken a liking to you, and I see why now, child of water.
What can you tell me about perhaps the Genasi's origins here in Chult, or maybe even something about this aspect of Adleal?
Well,
and I'll have them turn back into fish.
He starts to go into the primordial history of the land of Chult.
And I will let it.
Yeah.
Metzley's going to be the only one that's like, what the fuck?
About an hour into this dissertation of the Titans and their ties to the primordial lands, and Ubteo is a Titan, and so is the Night Serpent. Basically that this land is steeped in elementalism, unlike most of the other realms, which are spiritualism, based on the outer planes. That they were conquered by gods and forgot that they were created by Titans. Kind of goes into that a little bit. But yeah, about an hour in, Metzley is like, should we ask about the scales and the crown of Jet?
Yeah. Mr. Adel. Aztec name.
Yeah, there's no gender-specific title yet that I know of. Mr. or Mrs., what do you say when it's a they?
They do have a they. I don't know what it is. Yeah. I just watched a whole thing on them and I completely forgot it. But they do have a neutral term. Anyway.
Your greatness. Aodal. What was that?
The Crown Jet, all these things you've heard about, the Sunless Citadel, Sigurd. What about the Oracle Veil?
We're going to the pits because he has dreams, and we have scales, gold scales, I believe they're called. Pull them out. Come on.
Sorry,
come on, get them out.
It's MX is a common title. You just say MX instead of Miss or Mr. It's Mix. So the MX instead of the MR or the MRS or the MS, it's just an MX. So Mix. Mixable.
Show on the scales.
Oh, yeah, there we go. We've found a couple of these golden serpent scales. Ominous, given the name of the game's title.
Very unusual. The golden serpent, you say? Is that the quest you mortals are on?
Is it? Hey.
Well, we weren't originally. We've just kind of been wandering, searching for origins of my life, my elemental touch. I just seem to be uncovering more than I bargained for out here in Chult, and I can't ignore it.
I'm helping.
Golden scales. Have you been to the Oracle's Vale? Mm-hmm. That's where I am going. It's been a while since I've added re-upped my blessing to the totem.
I've got bad news.
Yeah, tell him. Sorry, my mouth is full of sheep cookies. I found some cookies in the room.
You're just eating some more of your ration.
We just came from there, and nobody's there anymore.
No one's there.
Well, I wouldn't say no one, but those that are no friend of yours.
We, Metzley, I mean, you know more about the Vale than we do, but we went there, and
I like you just told the NPC to talk.
Yeah, talk to the NPC. Yeah, but I'm the NPC, and I'm not going to talk to myself.
We should do a game that just makes the fucking DM talk to themselves the entire time.
It's every time, like I'm like, oh, I'll make a bard because they're great utilitarian characters to add to everything. Oh, but then I'll be the person talking to everyone, so I can't do that. Like,
I've had that urge too. Like, just in the couple times I've GM'd, I'm like, I'll make a charisma character so that.
Nope, can't do that.
Work. Yeah. That'll help them a lot, won't it? Because they're just going to dump into charisma.
Well, anyway, we were there. Apparently, everybody there is gone now. When we were there at night, shadows came out. We found a cave. There was cool stuff in there, I think. Yeah. I mean, I don't know the value of anything, but yeah, snakes. Snake people came. What do you call them?
Yes. So in my dream, I saw the totem there at the what Vale?
Oracle Vale.
Oracle Vale, and we made our way down into the offering chamber. There we were before entering, though, we were set upon by many a dark spirit entity of shadow.
Yeah, torture.
And then once we got in, I rested for a while, and then I'll skinny the dream. And then I'll tell him about the Yanti priestess.
Oh. Teocotihuatl is not there anymore.
Motherfucker.
I love it.
God. You know, I really like this language, but I love that you're reading it well too. Like, this has been fun to go back and forth. Spell that shit.
Teokuitlcotl.
Telcoitlcotl.
Yeah.
I like it.
So,
Telcoitlcotl.
What you know from your studying of Chult, the Chultan language, and what Metzley will say right now is the Lotl is serpent.
It is.
So that Lotl is the suffix for serpent. Coatl is God. So this is a serpent god. Mm-hmm. It's the first part that you need to know what it is. And the first part, Teokuitlcotl, is excrement of the gods. AKA gold.
This is fun. I blew some of my kids' minds because we were reading about some stuff and we were looking at some archaeology things, and Triceratops came up, and I was like, that's a Latin name. We were talking about dinosaurs and whatever. What is it if it's not Latin?
No, it was the archaeology and the dinosaurs.
Oh, excuse me.
Paleontology.
Paleontology, excuse me. Jesus Christ. I'm just kidding. Sorry about that. That's my bad. Anyway, so I was telling them, like, yeah, tri means 3. And Sarah meaning serrated or point or edge. And then it was like, the top. And I don't know if top means head, but I was told them. I was like, it's 3-point head. They were like, what? And then they wanted to know what all the other wizard names was. And then it led into this conversation where I'm like, that's what medicine is the same way. And that's why doctors all speak Latin. Or not speak Latin, but, write in Latin. Yeah. And you have to know all these connectors and junk. And it was a really cool teaching tool. So this is good. Okay, sorry. Gold. So this means gold snake god.
Gold what god?
Snake god.
Gold
Serpent.
what?
Gold snake feces.
It's feces. God, feces, snake, god.
Wait, snake god? Is it snake or is it serpent?
Yeah, you tell me.
Well, I thought it was serpent, but whatever.
Cattle is serpent. Yes. Snake or serpent.
Quaddle I knew was god because Quetzalcoatl.
Yeah, Quetzalcoatl. The other one is...
Demianacoatl.
Nope, hold on. Tlazolteotl. Tlazolteotl is one of my favorite gods.
I was really excited when you started describing the really large hornet, because I think I showed you in the old monster manual, there's that Ha-Shastak. Then it's H-A'-AASH ''AAT''AK. It's like Ha-Shastak.
Yeah.
And he's like this massive, giant mosquito. Like, he wouldn't even, you would...
Yeah, I know what you're talking about now.
Him coming to kill you wouldn't even be like, he wouldn't even be able to drink your blood because his proboscis would be about 5 to 7 stories tall. So just that part of him is massive. And he was one of my favorite gods from that book before I ever read any of them. He's based off an old Ethiopian myth, I think.
Well, if she is missing, then you must find her.
Why must we find her? What purpose does she serve here in the jungle? Where might she have gone? Stay
If
away.
I would have known that, I wouldn't have to go to the Oracle's Veil. And no one knows what the Coatl are needed for. But they know all of time.
So perhaps she's simply reached the end of her own time and she knows it. What makes you think she's missing?
Well, you said you went into her chambers.
Ah.
Yeah, there was nobody there.
That's true. We did find the scales there. So, any idea where she might have gone, Adel?
If I would have known that, I wouldn't have to go to the Oracle's Veil.
What a friendly, useless guy. Let's see. I mean, I just have the urge to keep asking him stuff about Adeliotl and if he knows any more about that, but that's not fair to do right now, so...
We've got way too many words with TLs in them.
It's wonderful. I love the sound of this. We have no idea if that's what it sounds like or not, really, but how they do it.
Yeah, there's...
Really? Yeah.
There's some pretty accurate cultures that were still speaking Neotl language.
Codex is that
oh god, what
basically when missionaries
what was that guy's name?
came to Mexico and
they recorded it.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Well, I mean, he didn't record it.
Well, no, but you can. There's lexical marks you can make. That's why I'm trying to think of. Like if you ever see Native American languages, because they don't have any written language, and you see basically the Roman script equivalents, and they have all the little stressors and marks all over the tops of them. Yeah, so that's what I'm assuming this looks like.
But I forget what the exact story was. There's actually a project right now to kind of
work on trying to recreate the sound of it.
No, so there are 16 codexes. That are written in both Spanish and
the most cited of which is the Florentine Codex.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's the Mendoza Codex that
I didn't realize it was that well known.
I mean, yeah, they moved in and took over for a long time, but the missionaries, there were several depending on, and some of them were dicks.
Oh, they're all dicks.
I mean, they're all dicks of what they're doing, but some of them were more actually curious, and the other ones were just derisive.
So
but they were like taking down all the information.
So then I'm curious. I don't know if this has anything to do with that at all. But like movie Apocalyptico.
I haven't watched it.
Never seen it.
Mm-hmm.
I watched the entire thing without subtitles, thinking that was the point.
What?
Because I rented it on DVD a while ago.
That's funny.
And I just put it in.
God, you missed so much without the dialogue.
Well, no, I followed it.
I get it, but
like those movies, I thought, like, how does that movie not have
that was
subtitles on the screen? Like, not something you have to turn on. Like, why wouldn't it be part of the movie?
That's what I was thinking. That's why I thought, it's supposed to be like this. And they were all very expressive. Mm-hmm. So I followed, like, what was going on. But and I was also dumb.
So I just wondered how much of what they were saying was, like, researched at all, if that's what that sounded like. I don't know about that. I was going to say...
What's his face made it, so I doubt...
Well, I was going to say that's true. And now that I know that there is more basis behind this, that we have a better understanding of this than I thought we did, then I know for a fact that shit was kind of BS, because it didn't sound anything like macchiato.
But Diego Duran, who did one of the codexes, was a translator for the Spanish. He spoke Nahuatl fluently.
That's dope.
Yeah.
It's just too late in my life to learn a language now. At this point, I've just given up. I'm 40, didn't happen.
But so the codexes were written in both Spanish and whatever the Nahuatl. Except for the last one, the one that was done last, was only written in Nahuatl. And now there's currently, I forget what the fucking name of the project is, but there's a project to kind of reconstruct the language. And basically, like what Christianity does, especially Catholics, is they'll take in like a local's kind of beliefs and force it into the Christian paradigm.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, it's not cool, but I mean,
it's just like 40K.
No, I'm not saying cool. Like that's neat that they're doing that. I'm saying it's neat that like this is how it happened. This is how they're going.
Yeah, and so like there's a project going on that they're trying to extract what was
originally. Yeah. Take it out.
Codex Mendoza, the Florentine Codex, and the works by Diego Duran. Codex Mendoza is a mixed pictorial alphabetic Spanish manuscript. Supreme importance is the Florentine Codex, a project directed by Franciscan friar Bernardino del Sahagan.
What it was so the Cortez, the conquistador, what they're trying to do with these codexes is get the perspective from the other side. Because what we know is what the Spanish.
See. We want to know what the Nahuatl people thought, like, or the Aztecs. We want to know their side of the story.
Yeah,
through the translation.
And it was. If you're interested,
I've been watching videos on this because I've been running this game. I'll post some of them.
Yeah, that would be dope.
In the thing, the most interesting one is one I think it was a year ago. Not the most interesting one. Actually, the most interesting one was the most recent ones I watched. But a year ago, this guy does a show called Tasting History where he does recipes, and he'll go through a recipe. He's like, "This is a recipe of this time period in this area," and then a 10-minute little history lesson in the middle of it of what was going on around the time, why this thing was important or whatever. But he did tamales from Aztecs, and wow. First off, they're wildly different than what we would have today because they didn't have lard. So it's just the cornmeal kind of like in water, nixtized and smashed up with other fillings. But then he goes into the history and he specifically goes a lot to the Florentine Codex because that's where a lot of the food references were in the Florentine Codexes.
We went to an Aztec restaurant here in town that's way up on the north side, and their appetizer was this like dried corn kernels. They were basically like baked, and they were crunchy but like kind of hollow. So it was almost like popcorn, but it hadn't popped. It just hollowed, and it was kind of buttery. And you ate it like you got a little cup of them about that big, and it was enough. And it was They were interesting as hell. I wanted to ask about them, but
it's like corn nuts without the seasoning.
Sorry, the service sucked. I don't know. I was never much of no, not like that. Corn nuts are like nuts. This was literally like.
And corn nuts are baked hominy, which is corn.
Yeah, but these were like corn kernels, but like, like you have the corn kernel is kind of shaped like narrow on the bottom, and the top is fatter. Huh. And this is the white part. Imagine the white part had kind of caved in a little bit and was hollow. Other than that, it was just like a yellow tooth. I mean, and they had a nice, satisfying crunch to them. They were really tasty. Like I said, I was going to ask about them and be like, "What are these? How did you make these?" But the service there sucked. So
I also just think the podcast where they tell the story from the other side of the conquistadors.
We'll do lots of research on that. But.
And yeah, link those videos.
I will. Aodal is basically very distraught now that the golden serpent is missing.
Even though he doesn't know what she does.
Doesn't know what she does? She was an oracle.
I know, I'm just being a dick.
Oh.
Because I was like, how do you know she didn't just leave? Like, how do you know
So, like, there's a... no, you're going to learn about it later.
That's one of the hardest parts about DMing for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
it makes complete sense. It makes... The thing is, what I'm saying...
Story.
It makes complete sense what he's doing.
Yeah.
But there's a certain thing you don't understand about something in the game.
No.
I mean, so it's interesting then. That's what this whole game is about, you discovering.
Yeah, well, you also can't just... I mean, what God just tells you the answer directly anyway.
Yep.
I mean, this
he thinks a different way.
This is literally...
and also, you're the one having the dreams.
Yeah.
Like, you're keeping asking him, like, where did she go? This is not like... She's calling out to you. Like...
Could she be at the carpet?
Yeah, so is there anything that he can tell me about Tilia Kahime? Tilia Kahime.
I mean, if she's calling out to you.
I know, I'm asking, is there anything that he can tell me about Tilia Kahime that can help us out? Because that's where we're headed, and everyone keeps telling us not to go there.
So... Tilia Kahime is a corrupted part of the earth, of Chult. He says that one of the avatars of the last avatars of the Night Serpent, the Night Serpent, was wounded there, and its blood corrupted the earth. And
the Night Serpent.
The Night Serpent, the big primordial evil thing that's trapped underneath Chult.
It was injured there.
It was injured there, and its blood corrupted the earth. But the way he says it is very much primordial. Like, that earth, that element of earth and life and area has been corrupted to its core with negative kind of energy type of thing. Like, when he's using the primordial language to say these words... Right. It is very much this land is no longer nature. It's no longer primordial. It is something that just wants to destroy or corrupt. If this were to happen, like, this is what the Night Serpent wants to happen everywhere. And it is literally the death of Earth. It is literally the death of elements and the corruption of nature. So this is where the blood dropped. It is a corrupted area. Best to be avoided.
Can we fix it?
Well,
many have tried.
Even if we can't, we're still going to have to go there to find Tecuitlacawal.
Why would she go there?
That is where she's ended up. Something tells me
Why would she go there?
Something tells me she hasn't gone there of her own accord.
Why would she be taken?
Well, if she's used to see that, you say you use the Oracle to gather information, see the future, see beyond.
I don't.
others have used. I mean, isn't that what were they using the totem for?
To see, to get blessings and see the future. Yeah, she's a dork.
So I mean, that's why you would take. Then I'll just explain to him how money works and why stealing an oracle might be one way to make riches.
And
also corrupting.
And Eodal says to you her importance is more than just.
I mean, she's an aspect of the nature. She's part of the land, isn't she?
Coatls. You misunderstand Coatls. Coatls are living life backwards. You're just happening to meet them now. But they already know how it all ends. They just can't say. If someone mortal or even a titan were to gain that power, it would be abused in a way that would fracture realities, I would think. We aren't meant to go in that direction.
All right.
Who would want to use that?
Well, it sounds like the Yuan-Ti. They're constantly trying to destroy the world. They want nothing more than their night serpent to eat the sun out of the very sky.
But if they have the serpent now, then why are they harassing us? And why are they going after the stuff on the ship? And why are they doing this, doing that? Why?
Well, we have another giant animal here. Would you like me to splash his face with purple light so you can ride his head?
No, please.
Well, that's what we did the last time we met a giant animal.
Oh, this isn't a giant animal.
I know. Oh, this Haragon.
So maybe they don't have her yet.
Perhaps
maybe they're looking for it too.
Now remember, in your dreams, the people that killed everyone in the village weren't Yuan-Ti. They were humans. The person with the cobra mantle. The things that took something from the temple and took it to the areas.
The men are holding the wriggling
Yep.
hammock. A sea pitch on the ground, green on the ground, and holding.
Those were all humans, Choltons, not Yuan-Ti.
It seems there's more at play here than we originally endeavored to discover. It seems all roads lead to Tililia Koamahia. Tililia Kahine.
Mm-hmm.
Missing something.
That will be weird. We're all gonna be versed in Coatl or Nahuatl.
Nahuatl.
Yeah. What do you mean we're missing something? Like you and I are missing something, or?
No, I'm saying this in character.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It does feel a bit like we're being led. My dreams, these aspects of it, or
the Yuan-Ti seem to be looking for what you're looking for. Yes.
It's hard to say what the Yuan-Ti are looking for.
They wanted those maps that scale from the boat.
Did they want the scale?
They were taking everything. The maps, the scale, the journal.
When we ran into them the second time, all they said was that we had to pay for the lives that we took.
Well, they were going to take what you took from them and then pay for the lives that you took doing it.
Well, I mean, we could go back over what we got again, but it's just the maps and the scale and the journals. We've gotten all the information from those.
No, there's something in those pits that we need.
Something in the
pits.
The tar pits.
Oh,
the blood.
yeah.
The blood. The unnatural.
Well,
evil.
it sounds like that might be where I find my crown. Or perhaps Teotihuacan's crown.
I think she...
Are you afraid to use her official name?
I can't say it. It's the rabbit teeth, sorry. And by rabbit, I mean Haragon.
Yeah. All right.
But no, I think she's talking to you. I think that's what they want. They wanted the scales so they could find her, so they could do what they needed to do, or they wanted to do. They don't need to do it. They should have never needed to do that. I don't know why anybody wants to do that, but.
So, Eodal, do you think perhaps I'm connected to Teotihuacan through her scale?
It seems very feasible.
Mm-hmm.
There'd be no reason that she'd lose her scales. Maybe she left them for someone to find.
Yeah, she's definitely calling to you.
Perhaps it's not that the location was the dream, it was the scale itself that had the message.
I mean, there's got to be something at those pits.
Well, we're going there, my Haragon friend. Be patient. While we had this aspect of Eodal here, we were just taking a moment to get his opinion on a few things. But I think we've kind of wrapped up our business here, unless is there anything else you want to talk to?
There's lots of things.
I know, I feel the same way. I want to keep questioning about myself, but he seems to be guiding a little bit.
The fog is starting to come back in from your destruction of it, and his eyes seem to be kind of drooping. And he's getting very distracted.
I mean, just learning that the scales are the messages was pretty good too, because now we kind of have something to look for while we head that way. I'm afraid that I'm going to find a crown in that pit.
Do you have any advice? We have to go to the pits, obviously.
Advice? Well, I'd say don't, but I wouldn't say that because if she is calling out to you, then it's important. Advice? No, but maybe... it looks like I shed a part of my shell over here. Maybe you should take that with you.
Hop off of Metzley.
It's 8.5 feet by 9 feet.
Just
there is this big...
just dragging them the whole way.
There's this big, sliver, shard of the outermost layer of the shell, and it's got all these just parts of patterns that were carved into it. It is... When you come up to it, it's not rectangular completely, but it's the size of this table. Tabletop. Pretty big. Just a broken enamel shard of the outer part of the shell and on the ground. And you kind of come up to it, and there's all these, the line work that's all carved into a shell. You kind of touch it. When you touch it, it shrinks down into something that you can hold in your hand. Just a nice little piece of shell this big to you.
So it's really that big.
Yeah, to you guys it's
and it's covered in runes and stuff.
It has the
carvings.
You can't really get a good look at him, but on his shell has all kinds of carvings and lines and markings, in that Aztec style. So this just has a couple of those lines in that little area. Well, it was a big area. Now it's a little area.
Detect magic.
Absolutely, yeah. Abjuration.
I'm gonna have to look that stuff up.
Abjuration is protection.
That's okay. I'm just, now that I've been playing for a couple of years, there's a few things when we play that I'm damn it, I still don't know this or that,
Or it's just one of those very nebulous.
Well, what is the one that what's the edition where it's zero is not zero critical, but rolling a Never mind. I'll think of what it was later. There's some other addition. There's something that I don't understand.
This.
He's like, you're pretty far away from where his head is now, so he's like kind of distracted as well. Looks like he's about to kind of wander off.
I think at this point,
I don't want to disturb a forest spirit.
it would be that Cobble is probably pretty extensively trying to note down, like, you know, names and locations and places we've been. I think I'd be taking everything that's happening a lot more seriously now that I'm meeting these, like, giant creatures, and everyone seems to not know me, but is, like, communicating to me. Like, this place feels ridiculously connected, so yeah.
So are you just gonna like grab and hop back over to the rest of the group?
Yeah.
It's like a little shield there, buddy.
It's magic. I don't know.
Looks like a shield.
But does it have stripes or?
It does not have, like, you look on the inside, like, and when you put it like your arm in there, just
It is.
It just
like, you
stays
have, like,
on your arm.
gnarled stick and like a piece of a turtle. Like, you just, I don't know, isn't it curled and?
It is.
It's got wings,
but it's got feathers on the ends, like in a.
I just feel like you're looking.
Yep,
More
he's
and more
super
like
druidy.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, like
carrying trash.
shit.
it's not trash.
Whatever, trash bunny.
Can I turn other people in?
You don't polymorph yet. I don't think druids.
Well, it is.
It is.
Yeah.
Yep. It is time. You guys have determined that you're going to continue on to the pits.
You want to touch it?
I kind of do want to touch it. The fish peck at it. Well, not like, I mean, like they don't nip at it. They kind of poke at it.
But yeah, things seem to be
Everything leads to Lilia Kuan. Whatever.
things are leading on the path of this golden serpent. Look at the name. So nice over there.
See, I said it would be a good idea to go visit
I know we almost just walked right past him. Like, if I hadn't taken your advice, because I was just feeling good. Yeah, that's good though. I liked it. This has been a fun little talk about Nawaddle too.
I'm gonna whatever my next character is, I'm gonna miss just being able to be like, "Hey, bird, what's up?"
How do I speak animal? Yeah.
I gotta say, this ranger is a lot of fun too. It's like, I do a lot of damage. I got some nature. I got some survival.
Yeah,
spell.
I like Reorn.
Like
That
your-
was actually pretty cool.
What?
Reorn.
Reorn. Your mix is very cool. Like, you're a sage. Like, so you were just like that smart, like almost anthropologist, archaeologist style camper. You weren't you understood nature because you studied nature, and you I know how to camp because I did this and I studied it. And you came here and the spirit attached itself to you, and now you're a real ranger using your intelligence to get you through this.
He's been
the sage, primordial, spirit attached ranger is really cool.
Putting the sage on there, trying to find something different. Really, those backgrounds really give you some nice flavor. Where you can kind of dig around.
There's so many people that try to
write their own stuff.
Well, they try to I have to multi-class because I'm a guy that fought in the gladiator pits. But now, when I was dying, I made a deal with the devil, so I'm going to do fighter warlock. I'm like, no. Gladiator is literally a background. You're a performer fighter. There's a background called gladiator. You take that, and you take warlock. Before you were an adventurer, you were a gladiator. Now you are an adventurer, warlock. Background is a lot more than people think it is. People don't give it the credits it's due. Most people just go, what skills does it give me?
Yeah, right.
And
I always forget about the background when I'm making a new character. And I get to
I
that step.
always am thinking about like
miss too, because eventually, like 40 sessions in, you end up getting inspiration for filling out your character sheet.
Well, no, it's like
I don't remember you were looking for something, and you're like, "Hey, you get inspiration for." Because I had put like hair color and name and height and.
Well, I mean that.
I had
that was a bonus for you because you got all of that.
But whenever I'm making a new character, it's like you're going through the steps, like race, class. I always get the description, and I'm like, oh, right, background. And I'm like,
Background is usually what I usually kind of make the character up in my mind, and when I get to background, I try to match it to what I thought, and then it'll change based on what it was.
That's what I'm saying. I just always forget that it's a thing, and then
I see. It's just
it's always like a little surprise at the end.
Yeah. I'm kind of, I don't want to say I'm looking forward to it. For me, it's like, it's a vital part of the character. Like, ever since we've used D&D Beyond, it's like, that must happen. There's a part in there that I'm missing. And that's the part usually when we all realize that we're in the wrong campaign. It's like, how come I can only be 3 backgrounds? Like, it's fighter, scholar.
And I have no subclasses. Like, you have to make your character in my campaign to get all this stuff.
Well, I always miss it too, because I pick the race first. And, like, I'm never looking for, like, Aarakocra or any of that stuff. And so I'm just like, oh, yeah, Genasi. Or I'm like, oh, Tiefling. So I miss that I'm like, oh, there's only 9 playable races. None of the 40 of them they're normally there now, or 18 or whatever it is.
There's a lot. There's so many races.
There's so many that are just, like, double, like there's, like, Urchin and then Baldur's Gate Urchin.
Well, I mean, there's...
Well, Baldur's Gate, or, like, those are specific to the campaign that came out.
Too.
The campaign came out for Baldur's Gate Descendant to Avernus. And they're like, yeah, hey, you can flavor your background specific to your campaign setting. Here's examples. And those were...
do one character that was... I think it was the Sorcerer. The Storm Sorcerer.
Oh, it was from Baldur's Gate?
Yeah.
Or you took the city
Baldur's
one?
Gate.
Plus, this guy, I think, is supposed to be... He's more like what the Rogue Scholar should be from Rifts.
Yep.
Where you're like, oh, you're really smart, and then you went out into the wilderness, not just like some useless dude. What are your skills? Fairly smart human. This world has mega damage. Whatever.
I mean, humans exist.
Yeah,
but you wouldn't want to play one.
Yeah, right.
Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you do something that can survive? All right. Well, next week you continue to the Black Pools
at Tilili. Damn it! I get it mixed up with. It sounds like this one sounds like a Hawaiian word to me.
Early on in my undergraduate
Tilili Kaheme
stuff,
Kahime.
We covered a ton of like Aztec and Olmec and Toltec. And I remember having to fucking memorize the names of so many sites that were like that I'm just like, oh.
There's when you do education, there's 2 people that you have to learn about, and one of them is Piaget, and the other one is Piaget, and he did a lot of stuff with like zone proximal development, and like at what age can you learn stuff. So that's not Piaget. There's 2 of them. It's Piaget and I can't remember the other guy's name, and I feel bad now, but it's like they've been doing that for these psychologists. Have been using this guy's information for years and years and years. But Piaget went beyond like education and did a lot of stuff in like acting and like psychology and did some of this and that. He's got his moniker kind of everywhere. And it's weird. He's the one author that like my sister did some stuff with him in anthropology, and then as a teacher I read Piaget. And then other people that are like, when she went to films, like theater school, she went and got a master's in theater tech. They also read Piaget in like acting as well.
Vygotsky?
Oh yeah, Vygotsky. It's Piaget and Vygotsky. Yeah, Vygotsky's the one that came up with the zone of proximal development. Yep. He's the one that he thinks that there are these chunks of time in your life where you're capable of doing certain things. So for me, I should teach within that zone. When I have an 8-year-old kid, they should be masters at this stuff, learning that, and incapable of this. And so in that zone, I shouldn't teach beyond it. I shouldn't be like, here's some theoretical physics when you're an 8-year-old. Right. You are incapable is what he thinks. And then the ulterior of that, the conflicting view is Piaget, who is that it's all in how you teach and the scaffold. So it's like, what do I need to teach theoretical physics? Well, I need an understanding of math. And so you're like, okay, here's a little scaffold, here's this. If you can stack those up and successfully teach them, you can teach anybody anything at any age. It's just not feasible to in the amount of time given to teach that to an 8-year-old. So they both kind of hit in different ways, where it's like the scaffolding takes too long, and then Vygotsky thinks that it's not purposeful anyways, it's unintentional.
He thinks that it's a hard zone.
Mm-hmm. And Piaget just thinks that
they both have the right thing. Is like, yeah, you can't teach physics to an 8-year-old simply because you don't. It's outside the scope.
Piaget is like, you don't have the time for it. The amount that you would need to teach it is ridiculous. And then Vygotsky says that they're physically incapable of that at this age.
I feel like that's a testable hypothesis, but it would be very fucking unethical.
Yeah.
You want to talk about unethical? Right now, Common Core has been out for 12 years, and we're still trying to figure out if it works or not. And I would say that probably in another 8 years, we will say no, and at the 20-year mark, try something else again. Because that's how the only way to do education, the only way to grow it is to keep trying and evolving and adapting. And we've been doing Common Core for over a decade. And I think once we get to the 2-decade mark, they're going to be like, here's how it's going to go from now on. And the Common Core standards just changed in 2018 too. So everything that they were teaching before have been redesigned a little bit and amended and it's weird. It's really tough stuff.
Have you ever seen? I saw a video on this a long time ago, but the comparison of children's art around the world to different cultures, different education levels, all that stuff. It's really interesting because it's like, apparently it's super similar. Like, they can't draw people. This is how they represent like a son or a family or a house. And like from a child just scrawling with whatever they can to when they're making stick figures to put up on the refrigerator. In almost any culture, any education level, any formal education or not formal education, children's artwork, if that's not what their focus is, they're not learning art, they all go the same route. The same way they represent people, the same way they represent objects. Like, this is the stage where they are barely doing anything. Then they all go to stick figures. Like, every child anywhere that never even saw anyone else's art before figures out the stick figure, and then dink, 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 dink.
You know what's real funny too is that I've found just in a little bit of like manipulation and working with kids and stuff is that stick figures are almost intuitive.
Yep, that's what this one thing is saying.
Them, because I always tell people, especially because I work with kids, that I can convey almost any thought with stick figures. I can make giraffes and pots and pans and houses and stuff like that are pretty understandable. Kids can relate to them. But they can recreate them with so much ease that they begin to manipulate them almost immediately. And that manipulation is what shows mastery when you're doing education theory and stuff like that. You're like, I do, we do, then you do. So I show you how to do it, we do it together, and then I let you do it on your own, and then I make tweaks, and that's how we teach. But with stick figures, you're like, this is what it looks like. Watch him do something. We don't even have to do a we do. As soon as I show you what a stick figure looks like and how I use him, you just run off. Like, kids will just immediately start drawing me just all kinds of stuff using exactly the same method that I did, just because they see how easy a stick figure can be manipulated. It's weird. It's a lot of fun too. Also,
I really wish I could find
a couple weeks ago. This is the lesson plan for a 30-minute lesson.
I really hope I can find that study.
One subject, because that would be something that you were getting observed on. Like if I needed to show my principal what kind of work I could put into a lesson. This is all the standards and everything. You can see zoom in and it's all paragraph after paragraph. So it's the I do, we do, you do, and then bring it into closure. You have all these things you got to do. Here's the standard.
D&D
Use
session
text
stuff.
features and search tools to look at information.
Should we go with those for us?
No, I'm just gonna run them like this.
What's up?
When he first got here, he's like, okay, probably Galen's on his way this night. We got the food. I'm like, oh, I better guess what's going on tonight. Like, I better do some session planning.
That was the joke. Teachers always say that. Everyone's like, we get to work and like, what are you doing today in class? And we always ask each other because you have all the way up until that moment to change your mind and stuff.
Is there ever a point say you're doing this over many years, because you're teaching the same thing every year, that you just copy and paste last year's lesson.
That's what usually right about. That's why tenure is 3 years. I have like the first 3 years to dick around and do whatever the fuck I want, and this year's was way easier than last year. Next year, what I'll really focus on is what I look at. My first year was just Scrabble to survive. This year is looking better at the scope and sequence. So the scope means this is where you start, and this is where we're going to end. You're going to end knowing your multiplication tables. You're going to be able to do manipulate fractions between base 10. You should be able to count and add, subtract, multiply, and divide within 100 easily by the end of third grade. You should be able to tell time, make measurements in centimeters and inches, and you should be able to do liquid measurement in millimeters and liters and decompose those into parts by thousand. So that's one thing. So anyway, the sequence is, how do we get there? What do I teach you first so that I can start teaching you multiplication? So I start with your place value from second grade. Make sure that you've got that in place. Then we work a little bit on addition and subtraction with a heavy focus on addition. Then we work on grouping. Then we work on counting groups and manipulating groups and making arrays and making new models like number lines and things. And then we take those groups and add them together, and that's multiplication. And that shows you, that's how order of things goes. So once you've got an understanding of the scope and sequence, it's just lining things up until you can get them to do what they need to do. So I know they need to be able to group. They didn't do very well today. We do it a little bit tomorrow, and then we do adding on the next day. So you kind of manipulate as you go, and you adjust it to keep it on the scope. It's kind of interesting. It's a lot of fun. It's a day-to-day thing. Every day you're like, well, that didn't work. We'll do it tomorrow. We'll just try again, And I tell the kids that all the time. I'm like, are you scared of this? Yeah, let's mess it up. I said, let's mess it up.
So is there a point where you could theoretically not need to create a new lesson plan every day?
Yes, if you are doing that all day, every day, you're going to be killing yourself. Like that kind of lesson plan that's a presentation lesson plan. I'm getting observed. I need to show a Title I accountability. Like, what kind of lesson plan are you doing for English? And I'm like, here's my lesson plans for the week, and those are abbreviated. But if they're like, I want to see this lesson blown up, you'd be like, okay, cool. And then you go through the Danielson framework and do something like this, and it shows exactly how and why I'm doing it. Because that lesson plan is really just me standing in front and saying, hey, you're going to look up animal adaptations for the animal that you pick. You picked snake. I want to know what it eats, where it lives, and what it looks like. That's it. Here's how you're going to do it. You go to Epic, which is a book library thing. You type in the snake, and you pick one of these books. Now you read a part until you find one of those body parts that you're talking about, either the teeth or the eyes or the scales that we talked about earlier, right? You got it?
The golden ones?
That's the whole lesson. The rest of it is me showing you how to get there and put those things on, and then letting you do it yourself, and then checking what product you made. Were you able to get onto the thing like I did? Were you able to read it on your own and then copy that onto your paper and tell me about that tooth? But I have to tell you why that's effective. That's what all that stuff was. What were we doing before? How did I get them interested in it? How am I keeping them engaged? How am I incorporating technology? How am I differentiating this for the kids that can't read as well as these kids? What about the ones that can't write? What about him? He doesn't speak English. And I have to be able to put all of that stuff into a single lesson plan and turn it in and tell you why I did all of it.
Okay, so yes.
So yes, I will always have to do that, but I don't do it for every single lesson every day. That would take for fucking ever. That's a 3-hour lesson.
Right. I was thinking like 10 years from now. You've written
You'll be required to do that when they ask for it.
Next year,
but next
year, I'm already at a point now where I come to work and I know that I've got to do a math lesson and an English lesson. I know that's going to happen.
Right.
Then they'll have their some free time stuff, and then I've got individual intervention things. I've already almost got it that way. In 5 years,
I guess what I'm saying is, there a point where you'll never have to write another lesson plan?
Yes. Eventually I'll get it where literally all I really do is just show up and follow last year's calendar day, depending on if we've made it that far or not.
And follow. It's also even just not even follow last year's. It's follow what you know of where your kids are at the time.
And it's so different every year. So the only thing that you'll really be doing lesson planning at that point is making these presentation lesson plans or making adjustments based on time frame or capabilities of students. Because last year I got not very many high functioning students, and then this year I got 5 that are like way up there, like 2 of them that I have to like keep interested. Like I have to keep giving them stuff or they're going to get bored. because they're already at like 4th, 5th grade level reading and like math and stuff like that. Then I've got kids that don't know which direction the paper goes. Like they'll just grab a piece of paper and a pencil and I'm like, okay, copy what I'm doing. And they'll just, it doesn't matter which direction the paper is, they'll just start writing. And it's not necessarily on the lines. It's not necessarily even oral translation. Right. It's not novel spell. It's just weird. It's, what do you call it? Like disfluent spelling, where they're not connecting sounds to letters. And I've got one of those in my class, in addition to these kids reading at a 5th grade level. Okay. So that's where the real teaching happens. It's like you present the lesson and you got to make sure that he gets it and she gets it. That's the crazy part.
Oh, we should probably close out.
All right,
close
I'll
it
just
out.
talk about education for 15 minutes. Well, thank you for coming to the Wildliverse, the most boring D&D on Twitch, depending on what it is that you're into. But this has been another edition of the Golden Serpent, where we play a short-term campaign in 5th edition, specifically right off the Sword Coast, just a little southeast-ish.
Very south.
Very south, a little westish. In the jungles of Chult. We've been having a pretty good time at it. If you like what you saw, if you want to see anything else, we do have a YouTube channel down below. The link will take you right to it. Hundreds of hours of games that we've been playing, RPGs, board games, all kinds of stuff, some Warhammer, some D&D, some Savage Worlds. Check it out. There's lots of interesting content on there, even some introductory stuff for new people too. We also have a merchandise store, which is about to go through another update. If you're still interested in the old Wildliverse W that you can see on other people's subscribers' names, you see in the background, you see on the intro, there's t-shirts, hats, caps, socks, all kinds of fun stuff in there, but we're about to get new shirts, so go check it out. We'll keep you updated on that. We are also sponsored by Drive-Thru-RPG. If you follow that link down below and find any of your own source books and rule books on PDF and save yourself a bunch of money, we get a little kickback from that as well, which we use to upgrade the studio and put more content out and stuff like that. We have some of their stuff. You should too. Thank you to Drewby for coming down and holding down the fort. Yep, it is going to be cool, Drewby. You're going to check it out. You're going to like it. Stream Elements, thanks for holding the place up. A couple of random people that were in the audience that didn't speak up, but thanks for coming down. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you next week for more Golden Serpent at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard. Oh, Mountain Time. Mountain Time now.
Arizona time.
Arizona time. Always Arizona time.
Always Arizona time. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.